Oh, I played some Dungeons 4, and I freaking love that there's a laugh button.
Oh, that's good.
Like, on the keyboard, you just press L and it gives you an evil laugh.
I mean,
I'm here
you
for
know
it.
I
what?
like it.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate to leave a laugh. Yeah.
And
we
you
need
can
we need
select
more
which
evil
evil
laughs and
laugh you
cackles.
want in the options. There's like
We
5
have
different evil laughs.
we have looked at it, but Neil is unconvinced, so we have held off for now.
Dude, I've got my BT, my internet service provider, provide Xbox Game Pass Unlimited, and it's on the Xbox Game Pass. So I've effectively got it for free because I was going to pay for BT anyway. So I've effectively got it for free, and I'm here for it. It's good.
Free games.
I endorse the game.
Free games.
I endorse Dungeons 4.
I didn't know this game was a thing, but I'm at least going to add it to my watch list and.
It's good. It's satirical narration as well. It's good.
I remember the narrator is the Stanley Parable.
Yeah,
narrator,
it's the same. It's the same guy, I think. But it's
Yeah.
that sort of
Yeah.
satirical. Like, if you don't do an objective, then it's like the evil forgot that they need to be doing this thing, and then when you finally do it, it's like, they finally managed to figure it out. Like, no, I was doing it without it. It's fine.
Dungeons 3 was because there's a line, and that line that was what was that we played, Neil, was the Startopia reboot thing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
They tried to have a snide commentator there, but he just drove us insane.
Oh.
You need the right balance when you're doing a snide commentation.
Yeah, because the game was so crap that it's like, oh, you couldn't figure that out. I was like, no, I couldn't because you suck. This is bad.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, you're human and you're organic and you're stupid, aren't you? And it's like,
Yes.
yeah, because you're not showing me how to play the game, for fuck's sake.
The problem is always to me is when a game is joking haha, I can't believe this is an escort mission, and then it's an escort mission. It's like, no, you're not getting away with it. You can't joke about it and then give it to me. Then you're doing it.
Yeah, no.
This is not a joke now. This is
no
bad design.
excuse. Yeah, you can't just
Not how
This
this
is bad
works
design.
anymore.
away with it.
Yeah.
No, this is bad design. Can't do this.
Stop doing this to us.
And so the forces of the Ashen Court forgot to check the hate down long rests.
Yes.
The rage has begun.
Ooh.
Actually, it looks like 2 of you at least have taken a long rest, so that's good.
I don't know if I.
It's a decent idea too, as you all have decided to all rest at Westwind Farms. Well, the outskirts.
It is true. Where's the button? There's the button.
As you've all been given a wonderful little
Behold.
I've had a whole little farmhouse that you can rest in for the night. Protected by a private sanctum by seal.
How picturesque.
It's honestly quite nice. They even though I'm sure it's not of a quality that Ceres would appreciate necessarily.
You know, she knew she was going to have to.
Some local farm mead is brought to you.
Oh.
It's passable quality. I mean, it's peasant quality, but it's passable.
It's drinkable.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I mean, in Amnes's case, he doesn't care about the alcohol content anyway, but
No.
neutralizing whatever alcohol content it had. Because you drink it out of your juice cup instead. Everything is just juice.
Have one of those little kid juice boxes.
Wow.
He's just got a sippy cup.
Yeah, a Capri Sun or whatever it's called.
Nice.
I mean, now I like the idea to the court children all have one of these cups, and then Amanus as well.
Yeah.
It's important to get your vitamin C. It's not that much sun up north.
True.
And there certainly isn't. But yes, the group takes a long rest out in the farmhouse. Given that you've got an actual proper bit of a proper place to rest, I am not going to require any nighttime rolls or camping rolls here.
Mm-hmm.
So the group is able to take their long rest uninterrupted. and it goes fairly well. The next morning, when you awaken, Isaac, give me a d12.
Sure.
I don't think
I wasn't expected to be on spot, but sure. Have a 10.
Oh, that's a nice 10.
10. Right.
10 direwolf attacks.
You all die.
No, nothing like that.
The weather is nice.
Rocks fall in your party and it fades to black.
No.
We've been there before in Dark Campaign.
It is currently raining very heavily this morning.
I see.
Visibility is highly limited, and it's rather cold.
Oh, gross.
Oh.
Who brought umbrellas?
Yeah.
Did you bring an umbrella?
Surely Ceres would have brought an umbrella, right?
Wouldn't it be
You
a
have-
parasol for Ceres?
Yeah.
You have prestidigitation you need.
It's true, I don't. Yeah. I've also got my cold weather clothing, which I imagine is also waterproof.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, a cold weather clothing would probably have like a cloak that's pretty waterproof.
Yeah, yeah.
Just gonna mage hand the thing over my head.
Oh, I can use a floating disc, right? If I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would allow that if you want to have a floating disc floating above your head.
Yeah, 3-inch Oh, it's not very big, but 3-inch diameter. Yeah, I could have that up.
I mean, I like the idea of Vickers like mage handing just like a pot above his head the entire time.
I think that's a cantrip. Like that's a spell I don't even have a mage hand. Yeah, I don't have it.
Because I can technically use my action to control it, and then just walk with it. So.
I mean, yeah, assuming you're not hustling, technically you can.
Sorry, I just.
Well,
Yeah,
like
makes-
cutting action dash to hustle up with everyone else, so
That's
I don't
true.
need that.
I mean, that's true. You can technically cutting action to get the same speed as the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just strolling along. Everyone's really slow to me, so.
I'm just gonna make an illusion.
I'm sure that pocket watch has messed with your time even more than.
Yeah, definitely.
I got this image.
I'm always afraid to lose it because of the concentration. I should pick up Warcaster or something. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Warcaster.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, as it stands, it will go into your court for how you want to move around. As usual, you can move up to 2 tiles. Currently, I will have sheep. I will roll on the behalf of sheep. And of course, you also get his 1 free scouting movement if you wish to send the giant bird in some direction.
Yeah, I think we were going towards the witches, because
Yeah, I think the
that's
idea is
weird.
we were gonna go like here, and then here, and then just sort of
Yes.
like beeline it down to the witches.
It's the Age of Ashes strategy of going either clockwise or anti-clockwise and end up where you started.
So
you
my
don't die.
guys
Yeah.
went up and down using the river
Oh, you
as a
guys,
border.
you guys, no.
We end up doing like a stripe strategy up and down the map.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. It worked, but
We did a full circle, but we were a bit tight in food for a while.
We
Oh,
learned.
no.
Yeah, and after you ran into the rock, you kind of died. So it was like, how fast can we get back to Arcravel to resurrect? Because good lord.
Yeah,
I almost, if he crit me, I would have died. Yes.
yeah. As
Give
it
me the
stands,
mines.
yeah, as it stands, we didn't have a food issue on our end.
Yeah, Dark's character.
Because
is-
I had 2 feats, which together basically made it so I couldn't fail to gather food, and also I never took a penalty for gathering food while walking. So
Yeah, we had a
right.
disease issue because I failed on my
Oh, yeah.
survival.
yes,
they kept
So much
failing.
dysentery.
It was-
Oh, I guess spoilers for Age of Ashes if anyone's watching.
I mean, they have seen it. There's a stream that has bad.
yeah, if you're not a
Yeah.
loyal fan, you're gonna get spoiled immediately.
if
so
you've not
just
seen
saying
it, there's lots of dysentery and malaria. Just saying.
Everyone
Yeah.
is shitting themselves.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
hate
yeah,
that so much.
I don't even feel like that much of a spoiler. It's like because it happens so often. It's just
It
like
happens so often. Yeah.
Neil was in disbelief. He's like super healthy, super awesome monk. Just
I
got
kept failing my
dysentery
saves.
so
yeah.
funny.
so much.
The sheep was like,
Mm.
"This is where we get dysentery," and I'm like, "Well, actually,
Actually, yes.
yeah, you absolutely
Acid.
do."
and I'm sitting here like, I should have considered that paladin feat that lets me clear disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ass is now a faucet, and And there's no turning it off.
Yeah, I don't have the augmented layer on hand that lets me cure disease, so I guess we're sticking with it.
You are very easy to track at the moment, because you are literally leaving a track behind you.
In that case,
quite like that.
In that case, that's the plan you guys want to take here. We're traveling.
Yes.
That's fine. You were warned that that may be orc patrols in the region.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that's why we wanted to skirt as south as we could without going through the hills.
Or what the extra orky hills?
Yeah. The hills have eyes, after all.
As it stands, it's up to you.
But Iron Maiden tells us to run to the hills.
Oh, true. Maybe we should listen to Iron Maiden.
You also always have the option, if you want to go particularly slow, you can always try it. You can always do stealthy if you want to go be very quiet. But also, the decreased number of tiles you can move, which is not great.
Nah.
I think we can.
What are we talking? These these hills. Are we talking slowed through these, or?
To be honest, the hills are roughly the same speed because the forest is already considered uneven.
Oh, okay. Then I reckon we go through the hills.
Yeah, hills aren't a major difference to them forest in terms of speed.
Yeah, I think
Especially
then
if you blow them up.
Mountain tiles would be a major difference.
Yeah, but I think beeline it down to here, and then like up and down, up and down.
So, like hug the mountain there.
Hug the mountain path. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We can like go here first and then have our scout explore this tile, so we know where we're gonna go.
Okay. In which case, let us move it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up sheep because I will need to roll for this. Okay, can you give me 2d20s?
I sure can.
Interesting.
Best rolls I've had.
11 out of 10. Straight down the middle.
And you wanted me to reveal the bottom right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay, you proceed to travel in that route. You do manage to avoid any of the orc patrols on the route. So you only see one in the off distance by bird sight.
Bird sight.
So it's not too bad as you kind of make your way southbound. Exiting out of the forest, you slowly begin to climb up the nearby hills. Your horses enjoy the ride up the hillside. This area does not appear like it's very well travelled. It doesn't look like very much happens around this area. All relatively barren, though you do find the ruins of a couple of houses on the route, kind of in the hillside. Perhaps remnants of once a tiny hamlet or something that was once here in ages gone by. Though currently they leave nothing but a marker of the past. Your bird reports an interesting sight out in the swampland. As your bird notices in that tile which you scouted, well, Isaac sees a number of small gleaming glimmers of like pure white light from underneath the swampy water.
Oh.
Are we talking
slightly reminiscent of the fallen you fought before?
Okay.
Oh no. What's that swamp that Gollum takes Sam and Frodo through? Is this what we're gonna have to deal with?
The undead swamps?
Yeah.
But yes, as it stands, I'm going to...
The dead marshes. Because they were filled with like the dead from a battle. I can't remember which one, but yeah. But they're going to be glowing zombies.
But as it stands, I put a little red marker there. But Isaac believes there may be danger in that tile.
Oh, okay.
If you're afraid of danger or not, it's completely your choice.
Yeah, northeast instead then, I guess.
Either way, now it's time for camping.
Oh yes.
I'm going to roll for Isaac to see how well he camps.
I will aid him.
Okay. Isaac does his best to find you a secluded little campsite and set you up for a rest for the night. And I believe a private sanctum was going up wherever you were making camp.
Yes, I have a spell for it.
Okay.
I also have Tiny Hut that Ceres will cast.
Are you casting Tiny Hut?
Yeah. Ceres can cast it as a ritual every night, and it lasts for the night. So there's literally no reason to not cast it.
Are you allowing the party into your tiny hut, or is it just for you?
I will allow them. I will allow them.
Okay.
Do
The
you
group
want me
takes
to
rest.
post the thing for Tiny Hut?
Is that absolutely fine?
Okay.
The group takes a rest in the tiny hut as summoned by Isaac, summoned by you, and a spot found by Isaac, to put it. The night is largely uneventful, as we'll then wake up on the 6th of Verdanium, and you may keep moving.
I actually realised I don't have Tiny Hut in my spell list on D&D Beyond.
But well, I know for a fact you know the spell because you took it out. That's one of the spells you decided to borrow from the library that Vicus was searching through.
Yes, exactly.
Are you just trying to post it?
Oh, it's fine. We don't need to chat right now.
Yeah, I went to and then realised that it wasn't there. So
I mean, do you want it on your sheet?
I
can add it on here.
Yeah.
The in-game sheet.
Yeah, let me just check if I have any others from my travel spell list that I don't have in
D&D.
Did we use that memory crystal that gives like an extra spell from any list to anyone yet?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so.
I believe that effect of the crystal is still unspent.
Yeah, I was wondering if you folks had thought about that at all.
Okay, yeah, that is the only one.
All.
Sorry.
There we go.
What?
Sorry, my brain just short-circuited there. The memory crystal we found that lets you basically just get access to a spell of any list.
I didn't know that was maybe that was the session I was
Rift
here.
memory shards. The other effect of it was it could be spent once for someone to just steal a spell from any other list in the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've
perhaps
not
think about that. But I assume it's one use, right?
It's one use only. Once it's spent, that's Rift's memories taken out of it.
So I think at the time we said maybe save it for higher level spells.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's probably some like
Just
high
put this
level
out
cleric
there.
spells that would be really strong.
I mean, honestly, get like Spirit Guardians, right, and call it a day.
Oh my god, yeah. No, you're not wrong though.
I mean, you
could have Spirit Guardians.
Give it to Amanas, yeah. Amanas with Spirit Guardians, unkillable. He'd be a machine.
Yes, let us infuse Amanas for a tiny bit of Riffreland.
Yes, that's
Are
what
you
we
neutral or
need.
good? You're neutral, right?
Who?
You.
Me?
You're not evil, right?
No.
Okay.
What do you know?
No, it's just spell
I will
changes
confirm this
depending on your
party
lineup,
I want to confirm this party has no good members and no evil members.
We're all neutral.
Everybody's
just like...
So
I
funny.
mean, you can't run a kingdom on
You have once had a good member in it, but this has been a while ago.
Yeah, not since the incident.
The good has been expunged.
He was too good for this world.
He was.
He was too old for this world.
Yeah, they had to.
I'm just saying there's a pixie who's still a little bit annoyed at her bet, but you know.
Yeah, she got robbed.
Yeah,
Well, she didn't get
no,
robbed.
she
Maybe
got her
she made
years.
it happen. Yeah.
She took her
She
years.
still saw the life force, but she's still a little disappointed though because there's no come
Gonna
up.
get more out of him.
he
Yeah.
didn't suffer as much, yeah.
He didn't die of old
I mean,
age.
I could...
Spirit Guard, that's pretty good, man.
I mean, it's ridiculous on a paladin. Just wade into... Ugh.
You just
It's
walk in.
It's a option on the table. It would take some downtime to attune to the crystal, but it's doable.
Or give Seal like what's that really good one? The Hunger of Hadar or whatever, like that warlock spell. That's like really good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Likes...
Alternatively, if you can always gift it to one of your NPC lieutenants or something to do with it.
Absolutely not. Crazy.
Didn't think so. But the options are
if I find out anyone's given that to an NPC, there will be hell to pay.
Currently that crystal is locked away in the party's ambiguous vault wherever it is.
I mean, the spirit castle is a good option, but you could also pick a haste.
Yeah,
for
I
yourself.
already have haste.
good.
No, I don't actually.
No, I thought you
I
and Vickers were swapping for that haste thing.
It's a me.
Oh, the clock. Yes, the clock.
Yeah, the clock. I thought that was the thing that was like mentioned last session.
Yeah, it's been mentioned. I think Vickers still has the clock, however.
What?
The clock that gives you haste.
Watch right now.
The uncursed clock.
Why do you keep calling it a clock?
The clock formerly known as cursed.
Yeah, I thought it was like a stopwatch. It was like a pocket watch.
Yeah.
I mean, a pocket watch is still a clock,
okay.
I think.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
What about it? What do you want with it?
There was a brief discussion of giving it to Amnas because
He can hold concentration better.
Yeah.
I am happy to loan my king my item of personal significance. I trust him.
No, absolutely not.
There we go.
No, I mean it. Like in character, he will. If you ask for it, he will give it to you. He's the only person he probably trusts for you to give it to you.
Amanas wouldn't ask for it. It's a personal keepsake.
In which case,
Well, considering I brought it up last session, I would go to you as Vickers,
Yes.
and I will attempt to
Be like, you're
give it to you.
slow.
Yes.
Known paladins are
I
known as the penguins of death from Pathfinder. So
have noticed that you have trouble keeping up with the pace of the battle.
I have no trouble keeping up. What are you talking about? No.
This sounds like treason to me.
But perhaps this may help you out.
Puts down a jug of Viagra. Keep it up.
Right.
Suspicious blue vial.
You can attune yourself to it.
Small blue pills. Yes.
However, do you have anything for me in return, or
Not well. Actually,
Trident
boy,
of
you have to try it.
are you kidding? Fucking kidding me?
Oh, I didn't know.
After what I've been through, really?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I'm afraid I do not have anything good to trade it with. I do have. What is this actually?
what is what?
Oh. No, nothing.
Nothing.
The king
I have,
has many things in his inventory.
I have a lot of weird stuff. I have this ampule of undying blood from a vampire lord.
Huh?
No? Alright. I have a
What?
head of an undead ASMR.
Are these magical items, or is these just your trophies? What's
Just
happening
trophy
here?
hero mostly. The Ampule of Dying Blood technically has an effect, but
Yeah, we don't really know what the effect is exactly, but I have it.
Okay. No, then. Just take it. I'll find something.
No, you keep it.
No. Dark, can you move it from?
Blessed Pocket has been
Yes.
transferred. It is a tuned item.
Yeah, so you tune it, but you have the extra slot now. So
Yes.
For some reason, that version of the item is slightly broken, but it will work for our purposes.
it's fine. It can just dispel.
Yes. Main thing is it lets you cast haste once per day.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that all it does? Or does it do anything
That
else?
is all it does.
That's
But
all version of
having
it.
an item that casts haste on you once per day is a very powerful item for someone who can't cast spell.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Why don't you keep
There were
it
the
then?
options for it to do other things, but you decided to mostly purify the curse out of it. So,
Exactly. Well, for one, I can't make the concentration saves because my AC is trash and I get hit all the time. Versus you, who have mega saves to your paladin and you have high AC, so you get more benefit out of it. Remember, it gives you +2 AC. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe I should take Warcaster.
the group arguing this in their tiny hut.
Yeah, you should have Warcaster if you're gonna do Spirit Guardians. But
it's true.
regardless, let's move on.
Can I get a D100 from Halldamir? You haven't rolled yet.
A D100. 94.
Wow. Clear skies be the weather today.
Yes. I have summoned it.
Yeah. Clear skies for over today, so... Yeah.
The way you say that, Dark, gives me flashbacks to Solasta. Because the guards in Solasta says it exactly like that. Clear skies!
Now, I'm now going to create an NPC for you, which is just your weather reporter. Clear skies today, my lord.
Yes.
Good day, my lord.
I need weather guy.
You can always bring the weather guy on as a retainer for the kingdom. I'm sure he'll help out.
Yes, of course.
For a meager salary, he will tell you the weather.
Oh, very meager, yeah.
Looks out of the window. It seems clear skies, lord.
That's worth the gold. Here we go.
Where are we going today?
We're going here. And then we're going down here. And then the free scout, like... Here? Or do we scout ahead?
Ahead.
I think scout ahead.
Scout
Top
down
tower,
here, then,
bottom
I
tower?
suppose.
Bottom tower?
Yes.
Bottom one.
Okay.
Normally, I would say scout around so we don't have to go through it later, but we're going to have to come back, so.
Okay. And can I get... Jonas, you can do these ones. Can you roll me 2d20s?
Sure.
See how that went.
11 and 16.
The group began to traverse through the swamplands. Between the rain the previous day and just also the natural way the terrain is, the flooded woodlands is not a pleasant place to travel through. Your horses, in particular, don't seem to like it too much. And on foot, it's not particularly better with your boots squelching a solid foot into the mud at times. But you progress on no matter what, even if the insects buzz around you. So far, your travels through the swampland have been mostly uneventful, and you've run across very little of note. The group was perhaps minorly annoyed by some wild animal, but not anything significant enough to warrant a combat encounter. I mean, after all, you guys don't particularly care about minor pests anymore.
No.
Get outside your league. Though as you've headed through the woodlands, all of you do find yourselves, as you're getting ready to camp, in an interesting location. As you find, tied between many trees, a large number of bodies as a clear warning of keep out. Bodies just suspended from trees or impaled on spikes. That was an ominous-style message, to be honest.
Can respect it.
Regardless, you get ready to make camp.
Yeah.
In the tile ahead that is scouted by your bird, he notices strange encampment, and a strange aura of magic in the air, as if perhaps a ritual or something is being performed in that tile, or otherwise mages have been active.
Okay.
Have as in past tense?
I mean, they probably are still around somewhere.
Spooky.
Use that information as you wish. It is now time for camping.
I suppose that becomes a question of, do we want to catch them sort of out of their home, out of their home?
Yeah, the question is, do they have any way to communicate? Like,
I mean, if you possibly can fight them in anywhere other place than their stronghold, that's probably a decent idea.
yeah, I mean, we thin them out slowly.
So maybe we should go. Yeah, so maybe we should go to that ritual place.
Is it? I mean, they're clearly doing something. Then we should probably stop.
We can go to the ritual place and then like go to the main camp potentially.
Yeah.
Time for you the next day, perhaps. Then sure.
Yeah.
The benefit of the tiny hut is that we are dry.
Yay. That's good, because it's very difficult to get swamp water out of a plate mail.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The group takes their long rest in their tiny hut in the middle of the swamp.
Yes.
Though Ceres gets the almost unnerving feeling like this tiny hut is almost wanting to sink into the mud.
No tiny hut.
But it's fine. It's a tiny hut. It's
Well,
mostly waterproof.
The awesome arcane power of the Imperial High Mage surely will keep us dry.
Yeah,
it does.
Comfortable and dry.
An ordinary building may not last so well in here without some significant reinforcement. Your tiny hut just manages to float upon the top.
Comfortable even, I see.
Yeah, it says the atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry.
All right.
So it's always
rules
comfortable.
as written. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, can Ceres please give me a Constitution saving throw?
I can. I don't wanna, but I can. Although, if I'm in the tiny hut, I'm within Amanas's domain.
Maybe. I don't know how tiny the tiny hut
is. It's tiny.
It's like 9 feet, I think.
It's
that's pretty tiny.
It's a 10-foot radius, so it's kind of difficult to be away from you.
If Amanas is sleeping right in the dead middle of it.
I mean, he probably is, let's be real, it's Amanas.
Command position in the middle.
I could, yes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Technical approach.
I will allow it either way. I'll say that throughout the night you're passing through Amanas's aura enough for this to count.
I mean, if it's compressed space, is it inside or is it just normal space and it's big?
I think it's just normal space.
Yeah, it's just normal space.
Fair enough.
Ceres?
Yes. That'd be a 13.
You wake up the next morning feeling rather nauseous.
Oh no.
Nauseous? Oh no.
Congratulations!
As unfortunately your sleep wasn't quite as good as you received multiple insect bites.
Oh no,
have
malaria.
if you need it.
Oh.
I thought you were pregnant.
No.
What's the difference?
It also appears that some insects tried biting Amanas, but they appear to have basically been psychically burned alive.
I'm immune to sickness.
I wish I was immune to sickness.
Because I'm a paladin.
Also, the passive effect of your plate mail means they literally just boiled alive.
Yes.
Oh, you should multi-class as a paladin wizard. That'd be cool.
Paladin.
Terribly inefficient, but cool.
That funny enough, actually, was one of the possible routes for her companion to.
Oh, you can call it a Palizard.
Yeah, a Palizard. Yeah.
Like a Power Ranger, like Megazord. Palizard.
You know what? My next character, for whatever campaign we do, will be a Palizard. I don't know how, but I'll do it.
That sounds like the worst idea ever.
Either way, though, the only effect for your Halldamir is you do wake up, however, with 1 level of exhaustion.
Ew, gross.
Alright, hang on.
Amanas can fix me with
Let me take a look at you.
I feel sick, Amanas. I haven't slept. The bugs kept biting me.
Every single time you try to go into trance, it's another bite.
I just couldn't.
Vickers has been holding your hair back. You've been vomiting all night.
It's been terrible.
I haven't been holding anything. I've been mage handing.
He's been the floating bucket on
there
it.
from this side of the room.
Ghostly hand patting her shoulder. There.
It's been horrible.
Well, telepathically, it's almost like I'm right beside you.
Let's see here.
Amanas, heal me.
Can you remove exhaustion? Greater Restoration works, but you can't cast that.
I have a prayer bead necklace, but I don't think it has.
I think it depends on what the effect actually is.
As it stands, he'll be able to. He could remove the disease, stopping it from triggering Ceres next night.
You can remove the disease. Yes.
Yeah.
It won't necessarily cure the exhaustion from the disease, but it will at least cure the actual progressing disease.
I'll suffer. Oh wait, no, we gotta fight. We might be fighting. What's exhaustion again? What did I do? What did I do?
The first level of exhaustion, thankfully, is basically just disadvantage on skill checks. Thankfully.
Okay, that could be worse.
The second level would be disadvantage on attack rolls as well.
Well, if you really want to be cured, I could kill you and then revivify you.
That's true.
I would get rid of the sickness.
Hey, we're not an underdark dwarf next to a lake, okay? We're not doing this again.
If you are complaining like so much, I can do greater restoration.
Enough chit chat. Restrain the specimen. Raises up the halberd.
You know, it's cheaper to do greater restoration.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I'll lay on hands, get rid of the sickness. There you go.
Very well. In which case, you will cure her of the disease, which means you do not need to make a new save tomorrow night. You will just simply no longer be sickened tomorrow.
Oh, actually
Yes.
rest. Yeah, I'll manage an exhaustion. I'll manage.
Are you
You have
sure?
no choice.
Yeah, we fine. I have ways
Fine,
of
I'll put
re-rolling
you on the
ability
stretcher
checks.
and bring you along. You can sleep during the day.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I've got ways of re-rolling ability checks if I need to, so it should be fine.
But yeah, as a reminder for exhaustion purposes, yeah, first level of exhaustion is disadvantage on ability checks.
Yeah.
Second one is speed halved. Third one is attack rolls and saving throw disadvantage.
Yeah, which is huge.
Fourth is half hit points.
Speed reduced to 0 and then dead.
Yes, I mean once you hit 5, you're basically just paralyzed. At that point, you might as well be dead anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I have spent 5 on my pool to get rid of your sick.
You'll be fine. You're still nauseous, but the disease is gone.
Yeah.
Nice. I've added the exhaustion to the sheet.
Excellent. So, what is the plan this morning? Which I'm just going to roll the weather myself.
Which is which?
Which is which?
The weather this morning is a, perhaps, for ominous thunderstorm.
Oh,
Oh.
that is ominous.
Well, it's mostly dry thunderstorm, very little rain.
Oh.
All right.
Just dry lightning.
Just dry thunder.
Crazy.
How bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, dry lightning happens, so
It does. It does.
just slightly ominous, though.
A little bit.
Yes. Right.
Are you wanting to go south then, though?
Yeah. To the accursed.
Okay.
The blighted grove.
And can I get a d20 from who hasn't? I don't think everyone's rolled at this point, so...
I think Isa
Belky.
hasn't.
Either?
Sure.
I don't recall
Sure,
Isa.
give me a d20. Oh, thank
Oh.
you. Thank you, you are here.
I don't know who's be right back.
Someone.
Right, who's beer?
Might be just I might
Is
have
it Jonas?
misclicked.
Probably.
Jonas.
Okay.
The group begins to travel through the swampland, heading in that direction. There is a thick miasma in the air, which is slightly uncomfortable.
Gross.
In what way?
It's just very heavy. Breathing it in is almost like it's cloying to your lungs a little bit.
Still, I'll decide to not to breathe it.
Understood. I like how that's just casually a sentence that you can give is, I would just choose not to breathe.
I will warn the others about it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Do we have air bubble thingies? I feel like we had the discussion.
We had.
Months
I
ago.
think Isaac has something, but
Given
We
Isaac's
don't
not
have
here, he
it,
will not be able to
yeah.
cast spells for you.
yeah.
As it cloys and clings to your lungs, it's mostly okay, but it's very uncomfortable right now. As you kind of head through the woodlands here, and as you're also traveling, not at all paying heed to the keep out message in the previous tiles, the group accidentally finds themselves stumbling into a small area which apparently might have been somewhat trapped.
Oh.
Notably found as I will need CL
Yes.
and a second. Be CL. Vicus to both roll me dexterity saving throws.
Oh, sure.
I was somewhat hoping to be the paladin.
Dexterity, I like those.
I know you do.
That might not even be enough.
I mean, we're
Wait, this
walking
is
close,
maybe it is.
aren't we?
Yeah, if we are close, then we will fight that, but
That's true.
You both find and manage to avoid the snare traps that are located on the route. But it was definitely, but the snare traps were clearly there, designed to cause, to try and capture intruders in the swamp here.
How were they crude traps, or were they well hidden?
They were fairly well hidden, though their strength relatively crude. But that may be more the elements of the swamp eating away at anything here. But at this point, though, you'll manage to mostly get past them and not kind of trigger any alarms or anything. And you find yourselves on the outskirts of a small clearing in the swamp. As your group has managed to get there mostly undetected as you kind of peek on ahead. I like to very much imagine seeing almost we set a scene, Vickers on one knee kind of heavily peering around a tree.
Yep.
As in the clearing ahead, you see a small group of mages all standing in a small section of the swamp. This area is heavily flooded to the point where it goes from simply being swamp to almost being lake levels of flooded. But you see these casters sitting on a small island out among all of the water here, chanting away, and you see this kind of glowing white magic kind of beating and glowing, small wisps of it heading up skybound above. It's very pretty, almost entrancing to watch. As you even see parts of the water, though, seemingly shimmering almost in response. And you see small sections of where the overflooding is almost start receding slightly. But only slightly. You also notice a couple of fallen, idly standing around. They're not moving. They're not really doing anything. They're almost like marble statues, but clearly still breathing, just standing around the outskirts of their little clearing.
Could we tell from this distance the effect of the ritual? The purpose of the ritual?
You might be able to, though it's not an easy view from here to get a good idea what's going on, but you can attempt to. Though if you were closer, it would be easier.
Sure, why not? And also, I want to put a reminder out that Ceres has her Tressim, which sees invisible things, just in case. You never know.
That is relevant here, actually.
Yeah.
As you do notice a small wispy spirit floating around the ritual site. That to your Tressim is sort of, though it's not in a way that you would know the spell, but it's some twisted version, perhaps slightly more primalized, but some twisted version of some kind of scrying sensor. Another being has projected part of their spirit here to watch what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Invisible to the naked eye, but it's there, watching. Even if it can't interact per se, it's there.
Okay.
Perhaps they're to grant guidance. It's not clear. Your Tressim can see it, even if no one else can.
I think because Ceres can, I believe, through Find Familiar, can look through its eyes. Though she doesn't do it often. It's just when she gets that feeling from her familiar that she'll actually look. So I guess Ceres can at least look at it.
You can see it.
So yeah, what's happening? What's going on with this?
You are free to roll a skill check. You keep in mind in your case, you currently have disadvantage on ability checks.
I mean, I'm gonna aid you if it's Arcana.
Okay.
So it's normal roll.
17 then. Not bad. For 5th edition.
As you can take a study. The magic, while beautiful and enchanting, doesn't actually appear to be too much out of the ordinary as you kind of stare at it. It's actually you are kind of familiar with what's going on in a sense. You kind of stare at it and look at the kind of the runes that they have sketched from the best angle you can see. Though you aren't 100% sure what they're targeting with this, it appears to be some kind of counterance ritual. They're trying to dispel something.
Interesting.
But you aren't sure their target, but it appears to be some kind of counterspell ritual being performed. Or dispel magic might be more accurate in that sense.
Oh, a ritual would suggest that they're trying to dispel something rather large.
It's not a mere single spell they're trying to target here. It's going to be something with greater reach.
Pervasive effect or something.
Yeah, I wonder if it's what's keeping this place. Because this used to be forest, right?
I mean, on your map, this was just marked as normal forest. There was no record of there being a swamp down here.
So maybe they're trying to fix the land? Question mark.
That's all the orc ability to revivify.
Maybe.
Option.
Yeah, unfortunately, you aren't able to get enough information to figure out what they're targeting from this distance. So.
Yeah.
Could we do like a friendly approach on it?
We could try. What about the scrying entity? Is there anything that Ceres could sort of glean from it? It's not like an eye, but like
you might be able to try and figure out what exactly the spell was being used, but you won't be able to figure out the caster per se.
Oh, okay.
But the spell being used may not tell you that much.
Yeah, it might not tell me too much.
So.
No. Okay.
As you already get the basic, just it's some kind of scrying sensor.
Yeah, fine. I guess. Yeah, we could try a more friendly approach. I just walk up to them.
I mean, we don't have to walk even towards them. We can, send message that we want a friendly talk with them. But we are not then exposing us to someone else in danger.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that has a more
we can
invasive.
Approach them.
I think if I was them, I was doing a ritual and I was contacted by a message spell randomly out of nowhere, I would be more tense than if someone was walking up.
Sure, but I don't think we can disrupt this until we know exactly what it's trying to, get rid of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might be actually hindering rather than helping.
Yeah.
Ourselves here.
We can't see. We don't see. Can we see if there's like other people, or is everybody involved in this ritual, or like?
I mean, looking over it, you can see there appears to be 3 casters who are actively casting.
Yep.
And then there appears to be just and you can see 2 who are seemingly on the edge and just kind of keeping a watch out, as well as you think they're the ones commanding the Fallen.
Right. Okay. I think we walk up. I think we just walk up.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we're just walking up, they're either going to be like, ew, kill them, or they're walking up, they could have just attacked us. Maybe they have something important.
Exactly. That's my thinking too.
You had a moment to try and ambush them, but you chose not to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Ceres will lead with Amonas very closely behind.
10 feet behind.
Yeah, with his indomitable presence.
Yes, certainly.
It is quite the presence whenever Amonas is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you go, have a bardic inspiration.
Bardic inspiration on my persuasion roll is ridiculous.
I guess Amonas can also too if Amonas gonna talk.
Sure, I'll take one.
Right, I have a passive 23
good, we have
persuasion.
Oh, good, you have inspired the tyrant.
You know, I'm setting you up.
I mean, I can't argue with it, but you know.
Yeah.
I would do the same. Makes sense. Okay. The group begins to slowly approach up. As you kind of make yourself revealed, there is definitely like a jumpiness to some of the mages as you see both mages kind of enter into a slight battle posture, but they clearly like hesitate trying to see who it is first. And when they see you, presumably without weapons drawn,
Yeah.
I can't not have my weapon drawn.
Ceres is a
It's
weapon.
a halberd.
That's
I mean, you
true.
can have it. You can have it not in like combat posture.
Yeah, not in your combat stance, but out, I guess.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can have it in resting position instead of
I'm gonna come and chop your head off.
They kind of
Resting.
look at you, hesitate. The casters in the circle giving like an awkward eye over, but obviously they're a little busy at the moment.
Yeah.
As one of the mages, a relatively young man, he appears to be mostly human, though you do notice a slight tuskiness to him as he speaks. But otherwise short black hair, kind of slicked back a little bit. Who goes there? What are you doing here?
Ceres will like flash her smile, her diplomatic smile, and will
Oh boy.
continue walking and say, I was gonna ask you the same thing. Curious ritual you have going on. Looks like you're trying to dispel something. As she just continues walking, so long as no one tries to stop her.
You notice the couple of the fallen start turning towards you a little bit as you keep approaching. As he kind of looks at you, almost like a perplexed look. And what do you know of our ritual? What are you? Stay back. These swamps are our territory.
Ceres will sort of look them up and down and say, oh, so you're part of that, the coven, right? The ones that have created these. And she'll, like, gesture towards one of the fallen.
We are.
Curious. And this ritual seems to be large enough to be trying to dispel something pervasive. I wonder, is it the land? Is it the effect on the land that once used to be forest?
You can attempt me a Arcana roll.
Alright.
You're actually trying to meet them here on an almost academic basis.
Yeah, Ceres has a disadvantage on checks, but 13.
You gotta add your bardic inspiration to that detail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could actually. Let's do it. Oh, well, rude.
Oh well.
15.
15. I mean, that's an important milestone when we're talking 5e. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering. A 15 for me is a 4 on Arcana. So I think that
Gonna
Considering
reroll it.
reroll.
I'll do a reroll. Yeah, I'll do a reroll.
I believe in you.
It's just
Oh,
roll.
maybe I shouldn't give you that. Actually, sorry. There you
It's
go.
much better. Yeah. Much more like my actual arcane knowledge.
So 26 then. With the boarding?
26, oh, yeah, I suppose it depends how Dark wants to look at inspiration.
I would say your original roll adds on to the end of this.
Okay, so 26. That's a solid roll.
25 is a threshold normally.
Like,
again, we're talking important.
Yeah.
Okay. As you proceed, kind of go over your observations you've noticed to a degree, or speculation. Kind of hesitates a bit more. You can kind of see like a light in his head that obviously you're somewhat on the right track. I'll give you that you're perceptive, or at least scholarly. As he kind of looks you over. And you hear him shout something backwards to one of his colleagues. Do any of you speak Orc?
No.
No, I don't think so.
That's my alter ego. Orcus.
Orcus.
Be careful with that as an alter ego.
That's a hell of an alter ego.
No, I don't.
My dead character used to speak Orc, but this doesn't.
Okay. It's good for me to know. She seems to shout something back, and some words shouted as they look over at you. Those colours you're wearing, you're outsiders. You're not with the Horde, are you?
Ceres nods, looking down at her probably too nice dress for a
Your beautiful dress, which the bottom of it is now completely stained in mud.
No, she prestidigitations it far too frequently for that. Yeah, pretty much. She then looks back up and says, correct. We are from outside the Horde's reach.
You see this hesitation. Do you hear a few more comments shouted back and forth in Orc with each other?
It'd be so sus to chug a potion right now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
It's a bit too sus.
Oh, sorry, it's my daily intake of vitamins.
Yeah.
This is the same situation as someone trying to cast hero with them of a conversation, right? It's just like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you
doing?
Doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have social anxiety. I need to drink.
Only if it was alcohol, it'd be acceptable.
No.
Maybe I should put it in a hip flask and.
As they kind of look to each other, wait there. As you see one of them make a comment, and you see them slightly. After a few moments, you see one of them going to hand something over to one of his colleagues before approaching in your direction by himself.
Okay.
All right.
He seemed to hand over some kind of smooth stone to his colleague, though you're not sure what that is.
Oh, it's his will in tablet form.
Descending stone.
Like I said.
I mean, in fairness, with Amulet around, giving a will to someone is maybe not the worst.
Everyone's within reach.
I mean, it's Amulet. A lot of people in reach of Amulet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's not a great place to be honest.
No.
Traditionally speaking. He will slowly approach towards you and kind of make his way through the swampy marshes. So you do notice he doesn't really sink into the marsh as he kind of walks over a section of water and just steps on the water itself.
It's Jesus.
or all the people living in the swamp use the water walk spell.
Yeah, probably.
All of
Hey,
them are
cast a
Jesus.
spell, kill him. No, okay.
He didn't just cast it now.
I know.
Some people just keep their spells running.
Man, I was trying to take a drink of my tea.
I'm glad I'm making you make a spectate. Okay. Give me 2 minutes here, and then we continue.
Then he will attack. Fuck.
He doesn't appear to be armed.
Except with stone.
No, he handed the stone to his colleague.
Oh, okay.
He does appear to have like a wooden sleeve on his back, but as far as you can tell, it's like even if it's a focus, it's pretty basic.
Let's be honest. What wizard is not armed?
Yeah, well,
That's
that's the thing. I mean, Ceres.
For all you know, he could cast Meteor Swarm any second now.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ceres looks like a typical wizard in like a dress with like a waterproof cloak, and then her staff that freezes the water anytime it touches it, and a giant grimoire at her side, like attached to her.
That gently lashes vines around your arm whenever it's drawn.
Yeah. Like she exudes magic, effectively.
By comparison, this guy kind of looks like a scrub.
Yeah. I mean, Ceres also has...
he's in mage's robes. He's got a couple of talismans around him, but he's got like no fancy glowing things or anything that's out there, like that over the top.
She's even got like the headband that's like majorly powerful as well.
I mean, you are elf. You want to show off.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she's an Eladrin elf as well, which is a whole other thing.
You know, this is the novice mage meeting the archmage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, they make their way through. Can I get a perception roll from everyone? Everyone who wasn't distracted by the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you were rather distracted.
I was distracted. I will delete my perception. It does not exist.
Or was it me, or was it someone else?
Everyone.
Everyone who wasn't Ceres.
Oh. Sorry, I was looking at the wizards, not him. Druids, or whatever.
Ficus,
Yes.
you notice ripples in the water. And as you peer close, you can see there appears to be also defenders in the deep water.
Okay.
They don't appear to be moving towards you, but you definitely notice them there.
Okay.
As you see the very faint white light underneath, and is that a fallen alligator?
Oh dear.
What?
It's either that or a crocodile. You're not sure the difference between them in your case.
Okay. Wait,
Sadly,
so
you're not a druid.
are they using them, or are they just there hanging out?
No, I think they
Like-
control them.
Oh god.
They do appear to be pretty like kind of docile, barely moving down there.
I think that that stone might be a control stone, like a
Control stone for
like
it?
like a focus for controlling the fallen. That would be my bet.
But I'm wondering if they just found a way to control them, and whatever caused this is something else.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, maybe the hags caused this, and they're just trying to like get by, and they
They're
somehow
just
figured out a way
controlling
to.
it. Yeah. Surviving within it.
Or Occam's right, they're doing it. We should kill them, but
You know.
they didn't immediately attack us, so they're not overtly evil.
Yeah.
We have to figure that out. But I will relay the increase in danger of attacking right now due to the fallen crocodile and such. Telepathically, of course.
As it turns out, you've spotted this, and you can secretly communicate.
Yes.
It's a talent which, honestly, has become so useful in this campaign.
That's why I picked it.
Is the scrying thing still looking at the ritual?
It does appear to mostly be doing so.
Okay.
It doesn't appear to have taken the most interest in you.
Interesting.
It might not also spot us. Because if it's tied to the ritual, it might only see things around the ritual.
It's also possible it could be clairvoyant, so not clairaudience, meaning it can't hear.
True. So it might not know that we're here, because it won't hear us. True.
As long as you don't, start charging in and casting bright magic.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But obviously, you're speculating at this point.
Yeah.
You don't exactly know what's going on here. So.
Curious.
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, I was just configuring something on my end, just in the event that you guys decide to nuke everything. It is not. It's like I do have to be prepared for, just in case.
Yeah. I mean, Fireball is always in my spell prepared list.
And there is a nice group of them casting a ritual right now, so I do not doubt you would do that.
Yeah, I would fuck them up. It'd be a bad day.
Again, this seems entirely within you.
No, absolutely.
They politely ask you to not do that, but when has that stopped you?
I mean, yeah.
Just don't give us a reason.
There's unpolitely doesn't give a fuck, really.
Okay. The man approaches kind of over towards all of you and slowly kind of walks across the water, standing a distance from you, but definitely closing in so you're not kind of shouting across the swamp.
Yeah.
Probably considered impolite in some places.
Rather, yeah.
As he kind of looks to you. Who's trespassing here? No, introductions, I should be polite. He kind of almost hesitates for a moment. We do not see very many travelers or visitors in this part of the land. We mostly see invaders.
Invaders of what kind?
Multiple. But my name is Khan. And you are speaking to one of the mages of Arlane. Who am I speaking to?
Ceres will give like a slight dip of their head and say, you are speaking to Lady Ceres Telania, a mage of the Ashen Ascendancy.
Archmage. Sorceress.
Sorcerer Supreme?
Sorcerer Supreme.
That's just hubris.
Well, I mean...
Ultimate wizardess.
I'm just saying, technically speaking, Amanus sets the title for his court, so...
It's true.
Master of the White Tower.
Master of the Frozen Tower.
Yeah, Master of the Frozen Tower.
Or I suppose Mistress of the Frozen Tower, I guess?
Mistress of the Frozen Tower.
Mistress of the Frozen Tower. I'm adding that to my list of titles.
Yeah.
I've started making Amanas one, so whenever I have to introduce him, it'll be like a really long explanation of everything. So it gets ridiculous at some point.
I want all of it. Warden of the North, Defender of the Faith.
Ashen Ascendancy. He pauses as he thinks. You're the ones who have claimed the border to the west.
There's nods.
He pauses and kind of thinks. We have, as it stands, we have no qualms with you. We share a foe. I take it you are here to push out those who invade your land.
That crocodile picture is amazing.
just for the sake.
Yeah, it's great.
Unlimited power.
I mean, get used to it. All the Fallen have that style of picture. It's great.
Oh, we have to attack now just to see more. No, I'm kidding. But
Crocodile is going full Lord War 3 over there.
Yeah.
Ceres nods and says, yes, we took control of Lower Alcend. Well, all of Alcend, I suppose.
He nods. We had limited contact with them before. The most we had is some flame-witched girl from there coming in and trying to torch us and stealing from our repository.
Well, you'll be glad to know that she has been taken care of permanently.
Yeah.
Vickers will do a slight bow.
Khan nods his head with some approval. That's good to hear. We hadn't seen them in some time, but honestly, it had most of us on edge.
Well, we're happy to alleviate your worries in that regard. Now, as to our shared enemy, might be best to clarify exactly who you are. Which invaders are currently plaguing? Specific.
As Khan looks to you with this sort of look of, like, almost like, what are you talking about for a second? See, the orcs and their monstrous benefactor.
Vickers nods and says, good. I have to find that being clear can alleviate misunderstandings. In that case, then we too are the same mind. Maybe we can assist each other.
Perhaps. He kind of throws a glanced eye back, a bit nervous towards his partner he handed the stone off to, though it is admittedly one of him versus 4 clearly well-armed people.
Now, I might extend to ask, we have encountered earlier some of your, well, kind of nods towards like the glowing man, but also like shifts his eyes down directly towards the alligator that's no doubt hidden below, and says,
It's very subtle, but it's...
your allies. Although they seemed less docile then. I don't suppose you could give an explanation.
The Fallen. They are our servants here. In a sense.
Are they your created servants or servants by necessity?
A bit of the former, a bit of the latter.
What have you done to these creatures? I have not seen animation like this before.
We have expunged their body with a purified light so bright it takes over their very form. He says with slight shaking in his voice, but then nodding again. We fight an enemy who commands a darkness so unholy it seeks to snuff out all light. We had no choice but resort to measures to counter them.
And if that enemy were suddenly to disappear, would you continue to do such things? Or are they just a necessity of what you're fighting?
We created them to counter what we are fighting. We would have no need to create more if they were dealt with.
So, what is your goal here? Do you live here? Did you move here for some reason? Why are you here?
Our purpose here is twofold. One, to protect the people living here, and two, to purify out the darkness that is trying to worm its way in. The elder creatures that the hags are trying to summon.
If you're trying to protect the people, you seem to have done a bad job, as your minions here attacked some of the survivors in the farmstead not too far from here a couple of days ago.
He kind of grips his fist, kind of tightens his fist. It's not our intention.
No?
The
It
orcs
looks pretty intentful.
The orcs rampaged in, and some of the fallen got loose.
Sense motive.
Yeah.
Insight. Not that I'm super good at it, but
Cyrus has advantage, so it's just a normal roll. Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Well.
None of you sense like intent to deceive, and you kind of even sense a little bit of guilt.
We helped them when we arrived, but there are still many casualties. I understand that wielding a weapon as you do has the tendency to go awry times. But it seems to me the best situation for both of us is to get rid of this threat, so you do no longer have to resort to such dangerous practices.
Why haven't you formally allied with the farmsteads? They seem to regard you with fear and suspicion. But if your intent is to protect them, why haven't you sought some sort of treaty?
Because whenever we attempt to get close to them, the orc patrols immediately come in and attack us. They're under the orcs' protection, and we can't get close.
Makes sense.
They've already allied themselves with them. But they're not our qualm. We don't fight in that direction. We direct our forces northwards. As he kind of looks around. You know this place wasn't always flooded, right?
Our local knowledge is limited.
Once was a forest, from what we understand.
Yet Yet the orcs summoned something so unholy that it managed to reverse the flow of the entire river.
Is that what you're trying to dispel?
We're doing our best to try and limit further harm from it. Though we cannot hope to dispel this whole thing from here.
Ferris will like look through her familiar and for the scrying, and then sort of point to sort of where it is, and say, "Are you aware you're being watched?"
Yes, the auger. Do not worry. We know of their presence. They are a magical anomaly we've allied ourselves with. They are mostly harmless. Mostly. They have been searching. They have been working well as a teacher, though, in helping give us magical secrets about the orcs and of the hags. They too seek its destruction.
How to create the Fallen 2.
I'm sorry, but that secret is a bit more guarded on how we do that.
He smiles. Of course. Well, for now it seems that between us both we have some shared goals. If you could perhaps point us towards, well, fill our map in a little bit of the goings on about here, perhaps we can strike out a bit while you, well, do what you can here.
Also, since we have a set code, could you share some information of this orc eldritch being? You know, for our protection and yours.
I'm not the best teacher for this.
Do you have a leadership or some sort of, head wizard we could talk to, perhaps?
We do. He kind of looks slightly uncomfortable here. You can do a persuasion check if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm persuasive.
Really good dress,
I
guys.
presume someone is aiding Sarah, so this isn't at disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, we all talked here, so...
Yeah.
I mean, CL.
Yeah.
Not me.
Hello, Amanas. Someone.
You have a decent number of people here who are all trained in persuasion.
Yeah,
I'm not.
We contributed a bit to the conversation.
Yeah. I have a talk.
Yes. If you are willing to wait a short time, we could take you to go meet them. They may be able to better answer questions than I can.
All right. Fair enough.
That works for us, I believe.
Our ritual will not take too much longer.
Might I say it's lovely to find someone who actually converses rather than instantly engages in combat. A nice change.
As it stands, we are not here to cause violence. If we could, we would just seal off the entire swamps to keep everyone in it safe. But
World comes to find you eventually. Afraid?
with that, he motions for you to simply wait there for a bit as he will back toward
Yeah.
his partner.
Still keeping an eye out though. Making sure, doing like the threat assessment of like what's currently around us. I'm not letting my guard down one bit here.
You try to assess the ritual a bit, see what they're actually doing.
I can't do that. It's just a big looking purple thing to me. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, I guess Ciel has time to think about the ritual.
Yeah, you can try and like take a like very cautious like movement closer and take a bit of a better look.
I mean, if there's like a tree, Ciel can just walk in and have like a perception like that way.
Yeah,
angle view.
I mean, there are trees around. There's like one right behind you guys that you could go up and probably get a slightly better view.
Yeah, Ciel will do like that. I guess I'm gonna give you an Arcana roll.
Yeah, you can give me an Arcana roll to study what you'll see. The ritual is largely as you previously it's largely as you previously kind of imagined. It is very strongly a kind of ritual of dispulsion, seemingly trying to channel this power actually into the water around you, which is weird, until you come to the realization that the water filling this swamp, a large amount of it is conjured water. Magically produced by something. In staggering quantities.
That's worrying.
Creating a decanter of endless order, but larger.
And they're essentially trying to use the dispulsion to try and, just dispel a whole bunch of the water and stop the flooding of the swamp getting bigger.
Oh.
Ciel will inform others about this.
Alright. So they seem to have good intentions.
Would I know any so-called Eltrist being that could do this? Maybe also tied to Sahagins?
Oh no.
Ah.
Would that be like a maybe for like a history roll?
I'm actually going to go history. It's going to be history or religion we're going for here.
I'm gonna go for history.
As you consider, history will get you a slightly different thing than religion will, but yeah, okay.
History is just better for me.
Yeah, you are the sage. Makes sense. You consider brushing your non-existent beard.
No, it's like tying the braided hair.
Twirling your braided hair a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. You kind of think there. When you're dealing with eldritch beings and the occult, there is very little information publicly written. Understandably so, right? It's not typically something that gets written, and it's not something you want written. But there are reports that Ciel remembers seeing looking through the archives from decades upon decades ago. of the Inquisition seemingly getting very upset around what they believed was some kind of occult conjuring. Though you don't really know how those reports turned out exactly, but it does appear that there were reports of some kind of all you really know from the reports was supposedly some kind of otherworldly being tied to the sea was being conjured. Apparently, funny enough, to what you had said, interestingly, large shipments of mana crystals were stolen from ships by the Sahagin.
Would I know, like, the timing of these reports? Like recent or like hundreds years old?
We're talking 30 years.
Still pretty
It was a
recent.
while ago, but it was like after the orcs had already been here. So the orcs have been here about 50 now. So though it was, of course, disputed for the first decade or so.
Yeah. Sarah will also share this information with everyone. But this is will be like with the mental path.
Yeah. Relay.
How that relates to what's going on here, though, you're not sure. Regardless of extreme quantities of water.
Is there gods that want to drown the world? Are there
I mean-
beings that want to flood the world?
I mean, possibly,
Presumably.
but that might be more religion check, no doctrine. So
Yeah.
I mean, if we have time for religion, I can also roll that. But you know, it's
you can try religion.
sure.
Sia was not up to date on her occult knowledge, unfortunately, when it comes to the religious aspect.
Not about this occult thing.
You need to go back to your mythos class.
Yes.
I mean, I hearing what CL is relaying, I can try my own history, but Vic is in his mind doubts that he can ever match the sage knowledge, but maybe. No. Actually not.
Unfortunately, this is such a niche topic that's a no for you as well.
Well, sure, we'll see it sooner.
I mean, it could be like a Leviathan. Hopefully it's not a Leviathan.
We certainly had interactions with beings that have attempted to summon from plane of water, so like stuff in this realm is not uncommon. We've been through many people that want to.
I mean, from Vix's personal spheres.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case, the Aboleth tried flooding the world before he knows that much.
Yeah. That wasn't.
So you only largely know that due to your more psionic connections.
Yes. Psionic esoterica.
It's fine though, right? It's fine.
Fine.
Yeah, assuming you do not interrupt them. After around 30 minutes or so of waiting, the ritual comes to a close as the swirling light that was being projected fades. And the circle there dries. As you do feel the magic kind of ripple into the very soil around you, and you even see some of the water level slightly recede back, as you see just entire pockets of water just suddenly, which is almost like just getting deleted from existence slightly, and then just the other water filling in for where it was. Doesn't dispel, anywhere near all of it, but it takes out chunks of water here and there, and you see the water level drop slightly in the swamp. It's only marginal, but you get the feeling that it's something they do frequently.
I actually might have a magic item for you because that might be useful for you. In the case we need to go underwater.
Okay.
As you see the mages kind of all begin to collect themselves slightly. As Khan looks over to all of you. Our ritual here is completed. I assume you're still intent on coming with us?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming. They seem friendly enough.
As Khan looks to you, it will take some time to traverse the swamp properly, but if you're okay with it, I will grant you a small blessing to make it easier.
Grant away.
Put it on the horses.
And he can put it on the horses as well.
Yeah.
As if you allow him, he will cast the water walk ritual onto all of you and your horses.
All right.
You want to teach me that ritual?
I mean, that's something you would actually ask later. Yeah. That just means, though, for the next hour, all of you can just walk on top of the water. Though please know you are not immune to crocodile. So,
Well, they're presumably docile.
Yeah. You're able to just walk out across the surface, which is perhaps an odd feeling to walk on top of the surface of water, but it supports you perfectly fine. It even supports the plate mill. And the horse. As we will go back to the hex map for the moment, Danish, as you've chosen not to engage them in dangerous folly.
Yep.
As they are going to control your next movements, as you said you're following them. Do 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 do. As they are taking you that way. One moment, I'm just going to get something up for you. The other mages seem a little bit cautious as they kind of keep an eye on you a little bit. But it does appear that, they've been told that, that you're interested in seeing their master, their teacher. They actually take south into a tile which you believed was supposed to be pure mountain, though as it turns out, there is a small winding path through it, leading to what appears to be a small village. Yeah. As you are guided on the way. I will not make you make a roll for the section of the movement. You're being guided personally.
All right.
Are you chatting among yourselves during this? Or are you remaining completely like stoic / only mental connection?
I feel like if we were completely silent, we'd be showing that we have some form of inconspicuous
we fill the space with talk, but not like important talk. You know?
Like gossip about like the maids or something. Did you see Cleaner Jonathan and maid Jacinta were really close the other night?
Wow.
I heard it from Lord Shell himself.
Ah.
Wow. Yeah. Of course, Lord Shell is the one spreading most of the gossip.
Lord Shell is a strong gossip monger.
I believe it. Yeah. I also, looking at my inventory randomly, I realized I have 20 crossbow bolts Ceres would have thrown away like 8 levels ago.
Yeah. Good old crossbow.
Good old crossbow. Although when this comes into sight, yeah, as we get closer, I think Ceres is going to pop a potion of comprehension.
Okay. You have one of those on you.
I do. I have 2 of those on me, actually. So, but it lasts an hour.
You are Lord Down. What you end up bearing witness to in kind of like this like swampy like opening inside the mountainside is this. I think you can all see the picture beneath the map.
Yes.
As you bear witness to this small town jutting out of a lake with buildings wrapped around a large tree. Though largely, many of them also like slightly on stilts out of the water. Welcome to Eden Hollow.
Eden Hollow.
As you kind of make your way closer. As you do, you notice many of the trees covered in various arcane runes. It's actually a little disorientating if you try tracking all of them, as there's just so many little things. For those of you who are proficient in the arcane arts here, you get the sense that this entire kind of area is heavily kind of enchanted, that so if the area was attacked, much of the swamp would come against you. Literally using the trees and the earth itself as a weapon versus invaders.
That's cool.
It falls in line though for a large coven of mages.
It does.
As you approach up, and kind of reach like the edge of the lake here, you hear one of them utter a couple of very quick magic words, so it's very hard to hear them. It is almost like muffled as they speak them. As you suddenly notice, basically just a bridge appear out of the water. It's just rising up out of nowhere, kind of parting the water a bit.
Like a
letting
fancy
you
moat.
properly enter inside. As the group will make their way into Eden Hollow. Also pick a tokens down here. Why not?
Imagine that sort of magic, but for like piers in Saw Bay. So the ships arrive, there's no pier, and then someone, like a dock worker, says a word, and then it appears, and then it's like...
done.
I mean, in fairness, that could be very useful for allowing for very large ships to dock.
How cool would that be, right?
I mean, it could be done.
How cool would it be?
If the pier is an object, it can be done.
If it sends a statement, I think.
I mean, that's why we're gonna, it's the airship docks.
Vicus.
Yeah.
You notice something immediate as you kind of start crossing the bridge and enter in.
Yep.
As soon as you stand on the bridge atop the lake, you realize your head is empty for a second.
Oh.
None of your telepathic communication is working.
Can't re-establish them?
Can you re-establish them? That's a really good...
Yeah. I mean, I will attempt to, if it blanks out, I'll spend the psionic die to attempt to re-establish.
Nothing.
All right.
Wow. Does it affect... So, Ceres has put Gift of Alacrity on everyone.
That's still fine.
That's still fine. Okay. Telepathic
But you,
communication.
no one else immediately noticed because you've noticed that you've crossed some kind of magical boundary.
Yeah.
And you've like whatever that boundary is has cut off your telepathy.
I see. Well, Ceres has taken a potion, right? Of comprehension.
She did.
Yeah. Vicus will softly kind of just look to Ceres as if continuing their conversation and switch to Thieves' Cant. And basically say there's a magical barrier here that is stopping my methods of communication. Obviously in Thieves' Cant. I don't know how you would like cant that to be different, but it's not like obviously exact.
Well, I think
metaphors and weird stuff, but it's
Yeah.
spoken language, so you should be able to understand it. The literal meaning.
Yeah. Interesting.
As you hear this like really weird street slang said into your ear.
Ceres somehow understands.
He gives a little bit of a smirk because it's like, haha, now you know how how I speak to all my people. But you don't understand what I said, but you suddenly understand what it means.
Yeah.
For the next however long the potion lasts for.
An hour.
An hour, right?
Yeah.
Ciel will whisper to Vicus that if only you written it down.
Even you've been made aware of this. If Ceres wants, though, obviously you won't be able to get aid without someone without like talking about it as a group. But if Ceres would like to try and like figure out what's going on, she can. But
Okay. Yeah.
Side note: I will make my ring invisible, so it cannot be seen.
Look at your ring. How's your ring? What's your ring listed as?
Ring of mind shielding.
It's like a feedback loop. It just you just
Oh
explode.
no, your ring's fine. Yeah, your ring's fine. There's no issue with your ring. You turn it invisible. That's fine.
Disadvantage roll.
Oh, the sadness.
I rolled a 17 and then the disadvantage was a 29.
With a 17, you can confirm that you've definitely entered some kind of like warded area, but you're not sure what the ward is doing exactly. Not with that roll.
All right.
It's familiar to you though.
I'm guessing it's somewhat similar to
Actually,
Silver
never mind. You do
Swift's.
know because you know the spell.
Oh,
Do I?
Proud Sanctum.
It's essentially speaking a very large version of a private sanctum covering this entire hollow.
Interesting.
What's the spell do? Can someone?
In this case, it's been slightly beefed up. It looks like, but yeah, but also you know that means by the basic properties, nothing can teleport in or out of the area. Planar travel's blocked.
Yeah.
But you can teleport through the area. Technically, it doesn't say you can't do that.
Yeah. No, it's just passing through like the boundary.
But divination effects just don't work. And apparently this one can also block telepathy, though if they're worried about eldritch creatures, perhaps blocking mental effects might make sense.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, it does.
But it doesn't block psionic power, it's just elder telepathy, probably. Can I still, like, attempt to slightly manifest, like, behind my back something? Like, does it still work?
You can still subtly manifest a psychic knife behind your back if you're trying to do that.
Yeah, okay, that works. Good. Just to check.
It appears simply that many people's minds might be shielded in here.
Yeah, that's fine.
In Steel's case, I suppose double shielded.
Often the most shielded means that they're the most weak. Haha. They're definitely vulnerable to psychic damage. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Jill will block all communication to her via telepathy in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah, as it stands, this effect also feels fairly static to you. So you get the sense that this one has been made permanent.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else would probably. Does it prevent or cut? Like, that's the thing. Like, is my link still active? Is just I can't use it, or does it like
It has
break
cut
the ability?
in this case.
Yeah. So everyone would notice.
Yeah,
Because
we
it's
would have
kind of like it's like a presence effect, right? You just know you have it, but then it's gone.
I imagine we were also talking as well through it. like discussing generally, and then
you're telling what happened at the dial tone, like in the event that you went out of cell range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps on Vickers, and it's just like the loud screech of a fax machine.
Yeah, I think it's just like one of those like CRTVs just shutting off.
It's just static.
It's that weird high whine zone. Yeah.
You make your way into kind of crossing this bridge here, and you end up in this small village. And though it's like a little bit creepy in some regards, it's a small little village in the middle of the swamps, you know. But you see like small little like flickering lights moving around, like basically creating like dancing lights, just kind of moving around the place like street lamps almost. As much as you can have street lamps inside a a little swampy area. And like these floating walkways, small little stores around. You see like a small little even bar open where you can even smell a little bit of food being cooked. And you see people. Regular people, though you see plenty of people in the same kind of mage's outfit around, but you just see lots of people around. Even Ceres can even see like on the far side of like a few water crossings over in the village. You can see a couple of younger individuals currently dressed as currently like almost like they kind of dressing up as the adults. Trying to make themselves look like the mages, and like you can hear them like almost doing that equivalent of like abracadabra, that sort of like pretending to cast, even though they have no clue how to actually cast a spell.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
It's like kids picking up sticks and playing soldier.
Pretty much, like literally they picked up these like swampy sticks and literally using them as wands. Like clearly these kids have no idea how to they're not actually apprentices or anything.
Yeah, they're just kids.
At least not yet.
Is there like, do they have hats on or something?
I mean, many of them do.
Hats.
Yeah, so like they're casting at each other, right? So if one of them says something, I'm gonna use my invisible like telekinesis to shove like someone's hat off,
Wow.
just so they think they've done something.
Make me a thievery or sleight of hand.
Sure.
Thievery's not a thing, so it would be sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Your sleight of hand.
Slice of ham, delicious.
I just like accidentally punch a child in the face. It's probably gonna happen now. Yeah.
Oh no!
Well, it's invisible, so.
I mean, you don't so much punch the child in the face, but it's more like he accidentally like falls a little bit off balance.
Yeah, that's fine. It still works.
As you suddenly hear a sploosh in the water.
Oh well.
Oh no, the crocodile has eaten him.
It's fine. There's
Oh,
just a whole bunch of laughter and everything, and you do notice one of the mages escort you just kind of peer an eye back at you.
Like, did you just hit the child?
Like he saw that. There's no harm.
Hey, the mage hand is invisible for my telekinetic.
Oh no. Imagine, what would Halldamir do if I came over and be like, "Hey, Halldamir," they like threw a ball in the face of an Renarin, just smack in the face.
As it stands in this case, the kid's not hurt or anything. You've not actually harmed anyone. It's fine.
He's screaming, blood is flowing everywhere. God!
It's a shove. I don't actually punch him. I don't do damage, so.
It's fine, Halldamir. I only shoved him. It's
as it stands, he just kind of grabs onto the walkway and pulls himself out of the water.
Yeah. Fine.
Kids fall all the time.
Fun between kids.
Yeah. But as it stands, you are brought inside, and Khan will look to all of you. Welcome to Eden Hollow, our secluded little home here. As guests, please, you're free to rest and have a look around. I will bring your request to speak with our Archmage in a short while. Let them know that you're here.
Does he show us like a guest house or something, or does he just leave us in the swampy meadow?
He directs you if you're looking for somewhere out of the kind of swampy musk. Perhaps you might want to consider the inn. Well, I say inn. It's bar more than inn because they don't really get visitors.
Oh.
Well, but at least the bar is somewhere at least dry that you can go sit down by a fire if you want to.
Also, the fact that there's a bar is a shocking revelation.
Yeah, there is a small bar. It's basically the same as like the local village pub, basically.
Sure.
Like it's not really used to seeing outsiders, but
right. That's
Is
fine.
there a card table at the bar?
What was that?
Is there a card table at the bar?
Was there a what by the guard?
Card table?
Yeah, card table. Poker, Texas Hold, whatever.
Yeah. So you approach up, and it's this very sleepy little building. He kind of drops you off near. It's got one of those doors that's almost slightly sunken, and like you worry the place is gonna be flooded, but it appears fine. Just kind of look inside. And despite the walls having the wooden walls almost having a slightly like mossy look to them, the inside appears fairly warm and even kind of like even warm colours to the walls, despite the slight moss on them. There is a bar in there with stools. There is a few kind of seats and even like an old armchair that's clearly been like salvaged from somewhere, put around like a fireplace. There is a small table in the corner which does appear to have a set of like cards on it and even a couple of individuals sitting next to it.
Yeah, she will go to play.
Across races in the room, you're seeing a variety, but you're seeing a lot of half-orcs in particular. A lot of half-orcs, the odd half-elf, a lot of half-breeds in general in here.
All right.
You do see a couple of humans in here as well, but you're seeing a lot of half-breeds as a general whole.
Well, we'll get some food and drinks, I suppose, while we wait for the audience. I don't know what's on tap. Maybe alligator jerky or something. But
you can approach up, the bartender in question being this very old looking almost surprisingly, like it's very rare you'd imagine seeing an old elf, right? This is an old looking elf.
Oh,
kind of Zedish almost in that sense.
Oh my.
That is an old elf.
Relatively quite old man, white hair that's still kind of braided, but like you're seeing wrinkles on an elf. This is not a normal thing.
Yeah.
As he's there, and he kind of tilts his head a bit. He just clearly just looks shocked at seeing you all.
Yes, that's fair enough.
Yes.
I mean,
hello, we're magnificent.
Yes, we are glorious.
I mean, you also don't look like you've been dragged out of the swamp. You know, you look kind of pristine in a way.
Thank you.
Oh, of course we do.
We do try.
As he kind of takes a moment to look over all of you. Your Majesty.
What?
What?
Amulet blinks.
Yeah. Who are you? How do you know who we are? Tell us your secrets.
Exactly.
I am correct in my speaking, am I not?
Amulet nods at him and says, "You are correct. I am."
Yes, I thought so. Oh, he almost reaches a hand up towards you and then like stops himself when he realizes like he's reaching to who he's reaching towards. Like, nope, no, don't do that.
Does Ceres recognize him?
You don't immediately recognize him.
You must be surprisingly well connected to know who I am.
I don't know your name exactly, but you are of Dawncrown. You must be.
Yes, it is true. I am the true successor to the Radiant Throne.
You have so much have his face.
Oh, I see.
He always has this like look that Ceres definitely knows of an elf almost falling into trance of memory. Their mind falling back to a time long ago.
Yeah.
The resemblance so strong. Do you know what happened to old Iger?
Wait, shit, who's
Iger would be
Iger?
your grandfather.
Oh. Ceres would remember. Right? She was there.
Yeah.
For the grandfather?
Yeah, Ceres was.
She'd be a babby, but she'd be there, right?
Ceres was young when it was
Yeah,
like.
you don't remember much about Iger, but you do remember bits, yes.
She was the Iger was the one that she swore the blood oath to.
And also the same one that apparently made a pact with Coven. With
Apparently,
a hag,
yeah. So Ceres
that one, yeah.
would remember, like she must have been like a teenager, like an actual teenager, not an elf teenager, like in human years teenager.
Mm. He died valiantly in battle. Well, as valiantly as being run through by the spear of the Draconia was,
Yeah, just he died in battle. I suppose Ceres would say that with like reverence in her voice.
He makes a motion that is kind of similar to like an army salute for the Empire, like the Celestial Empire, but it's like a slightly outdated version.
Yeah.
Because it's like a few hundred years out of date.
Yeah.
My condolences.
So then, old timer, you are in an odd place. Why? How did you end up here?
He motions to the seats around the bar as he starts to pour out drinks, ready to tell a long story here.
Yes, we'll sit down, or at least I will.
You actually see him. You actually see him walk over to a locked section of the cabinet and open it, and you see some really old bottles of elven wine in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna start a collection.
Yes.
As he begins to pour it out, it has a very deep red color and a slight musky smell, but it smells quite nice still. Clearly has quite some age to it. It's been sitting in that wine cabinet for a long time. I have been here for... I do not remember the number of moons I have seen at this point. Time becomes a little irrelevant after your first 4 centuries. I found myself after leaving your... He kind of pauses and realizing he doesn't actually know what your connection to Iger exactly is. Predecessor's land.
I am his grandson.
After leaving your grandfather's realm, I found myself wanting to retire. Somewhere comfortable. I chose to open myself a small hunting lodge, as I thought it would be a pleasant retirement. I appear to have picked the wrong locale, however. Given that within 100 moons, this, he kind of gestures, kind of out, orcs chose to move in. Disgusting creatures they are.
Yes, we have their constant forays outside the forests of this area have now finally come to such a frequency and brutality that we have been forced to try to act and stop them. So we have started our exploration of the area before we try to move in any larger fashion.
Be glad that you have found an area of safety. Our Grand Seer keeps this place well protected. Her magics ward us from the impending darkness.
I see. You have a high opinion of this sorceress or seer, then?
Yes, a bright young girl. She has functioned well as leader here. For the last several... He pauses. 100 moons at least? No, 200 moons? I lose track of time sometimes.
Nods. Yes, I knew an old friend once who had a similar perception.
She has served well, and with the arts that she has been teaching, has trained both sword hands as well as mages capable of pushing back against the corrupt darkness that encroaches.
Is it your opinion that you're actually winning this fight? We saw some of the rituals out in the swamps, but it didn't seem very effective in halting the progression of it.
She attempts to fight back against a darkness ever encroaching. She has done well to stem its damage, but progress she still has lacked.
Well, in that case, maybe we can help.
A stalemate of many moons, as you understand.
Certainly. Well, if it is something we are good at, it is breaking through stalemates.
The orcs do ever attempt to get to her, however. It does appear that she is their target. Likely knowing that without her, many of the rituals we perform would not work.
Yeah, makes sense.
As he serves you out each a bowl of hearty stew. It seems to have some small chunks of unknown meat in it. The meat's a little gamey, but otherwise it tastes okay.
Alright.
The stew is very filling, very hard, very warm, having a slight elven spice to it. Like tingle on the way down, but it's not spicy. It's just like a seasoned warmth, which is quite nice compared to the swamp outside.
Oh, sure.
How have all of your travels been? I notice your young one, as she gestures to Ceres, appears to look a little under the weather.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Looks over. I think she got bit by a mosquito.
The
It's
disease
that
is
good old elven
past. I
constitution,
just-
right?
yeah.
You know how elves are.
Dysentery is common in this swamp, unfortunately.
Sarah shakes her head and says, "The disease is gone, but the fatigue remains from a lack of true trance."
Our bodies do not have a strong resistance against such pests.
Shakes her head and says, "No, I am not versed enough in enough spells, clearly, to protect myself from all the horrors of the world." Although now I think about it, no creature should have been able to get into the tiny hut.
Maybe they were already inside.
They were already inside.
Maybe they were sneaking in.
I mean,
cloaks.
I could see it. You cast a tiny hut, and no mosquitoes already inside the area when you cast it.
Yeah, it's a swamp. There's mosquitoes within like 3 centimeters of you at all times.
Like every 5 foot square has at least a dozen mosquitoes in it.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Like, yeah.
you lock yourselves in with the mosquitoes.
Ceres will look to him and say, you give the air of one who was there, who knew Igor. I don't recall seeing you. Not in his older years, at least.
For his elder twilight, I fear I was not there. I spent much of it at that point on the road. Iger became different after a while. I could not stand my friend's company any longer.
Friend? You were friends with him?
At one point, I would have called me it. At least before he tried to run me through.
Grandfather was a bit choleric.
Who were you to him, past friend?
In my younger days, when I was probably only around your age, young twig, I would have been Imperial. I would have been Imperial Warden.
Is that a high title? Is that similar to a council position?
Yeah, eventually he would have been a councillor in one regard. Back though this would have been back, like more than 100 years before Ceres was even born.
Alright. You need to come out of retirement, old man. We
Want a
need
job
you up north.
I mean, Warden is the same position. Like, Warden is what we call Tauren, right? So
yes.
Yeah. Can you imagine the lore this guy's sitting on?
Oh my god.
He
is the personification of law.
Yes. There's been much turmoil and struggle in the Empire in the last, in forever, I suppose, but particularly stormy the last couple of decades. I have been the target of assassinations, and one particular bloody one ended in a coup that saw me dethroned and my sister taken the place on the seat. We have treated north and bided our time until fairly recently, and then he'll launch in and try to give a succinct explanation of everything that has happened since the campaign started, pretty much.
Fair enough. You will go through and you will recap this old man on your local history.
Yeah, exactly.
As he listens, slowly running a hand through his very long white hair.
Oh, yes.
But he listens patiently, while continuing to serve you more stew, more drinks.
Yes.
And seamlessly somehow serving the other guests without breaking contact with you.
Yeah.
It appears he has some experience doing this at this point. Which, yeah, gotta appreciate, right?
So, what do you think about that? As he ends the story.
It somewhat reminds me of how Iger got the throne.
Huh.
You see, he was not supposed to be first to his line either. He was actually third in line, but he couldn't stand either of his older siblings. They were spoiled, rotten, undisciplined, nothing like you are.
Well, I
now
have gone through some changes.
Oh, I'm sure that you radiate someone who has no room in his life for frivolity.
That's true. was only one thing that gave me pleasure and joy, and that was the bird festival, and that's been cancelled. Shakes his head in disbelief.
He strokes his beard contemplatively to the bird festival.
Yeah. A fine imperial tradition.
Don't worry, we'll host it. Just me and you, Amanas. We'll go to the tower.
Yeah, it's not. The bird festival is apparently not woke, so we can't have it. Hashtag cancelled.
It is quite the.
It's just Ceres and Amanas going into the tower and killing a bunch of birds to throw into the air.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying, all it takes is one chain lightning.
One chain lightning, done.
It's appreciated. It's just not the same, you know?
So just like patting him on the back, I know, Maggie, I know. It's not the same.
It is quite the tale of hardship you weave.
He nods. It has been difficult. Yes. But I have been lucky that my advisors. Wow, that is
it's a great portrait.
That's Pai Mei the elf. I know it's an old timer. Not even Zed looked that old.
He's competing with Zed.
Zed had more color than this, you know.
Yeah, it's true. He had a lot of that going on for sure. I have been lucky insofar that we have managed to collect extraordinary individuals to join our cause. And also, I still have 2 of my original retainers, Lady Ceres and Lord Vicus.
Loyalty be an asset hard to find.
Oh, don't I know it? Trying to talk to these young kids. Ugh, shakes his head.
Ceres like looks at Amanas with a frown and says, "He gets to call me old. I swore my oath to your grandfather, his friend."
looks over to Ceres and like, well, you don't really act your age, do you? Not that much.
Because I'm like effectively younger than Seal.
I mean,
looks over to Seal. I actually don't know how old you are. Like looking her up and down.
Now,
you wanna know?
Now, it's rude to ask a lady her age.
It's
not by another lady. How old are you, Seal?
She's no lady. She's like a some.
If the Majesty wants to know, I'm only in my early 20s.
Yeah, well, Ceres is in her like effective mid-20s, so I guess she's a bit older.
I would put Ceres in early 30s.
You keep telling yourself that, Boomer. Like.
Meanwhile, effective age of Amanas?
100 years old.
Yeah, effective age 100 years for sure.
And because here's the one person we can use actual age instead of effective age.
Yeah.
Looks as old as I feel.
What you don't know is that I'm using my sonic power to keep my broken bones together.
Ah.
That's quite the talent, actually.
And this ability of health is the only thing. If I on a tune to this, I immediately die.
Honestly, that actually sounds like a really cool power for you to like research your character to get.
Yeah. Like your hip bones have been broken for decades.
They're just fused together with pure will.
Moving himself like a marionette, you know.
I mean, isn't that what a brain does?
I mean, honestly, that's such a character concept. I love it. Psionic marionette.
Yeah.
Any other personal questions you wish to ask Your Majesty?
Are those real glasses? Do you need those glasses?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
They are a pain to get as well because proper glasses are expensive.
Oh yeah. Well,
Medieval opticians are not great quality.
I failed to catch your name, old timer.
In this current time, I have been frequently going by the name of Yazir.
Well done, Master Yazir.
Does that sound familiar for a reason? Or is that just my brain playing tricks?
Probably just your brain.
Alright.
Would there be any history?
I can tell you, to Vicus's keen mind, he has never heard the name Yazir before.
Okay.
Would there be any historical information about this name?
You are free to roll a history check.
Will Ceres remember who he is? No.
For all you know, this could be total bullshit from his behalf.
Ceres is too tired for this shit.
As it stands, neither of you remember anything in particular about anyone named Yazir. Though not all council members are necessarily wrote about extensively.
Let's go home and dig around in the history books after a warden Yazir. Or at least who was the warden during the grandfather rule.
And of course, as he also said, this is the name he currently goes by. Who knows what the elf went by back then. But...
Yeah. Try to remember. Was there a thing in the imperial palace where the counselors had their portraits up or something? Oh yes, you're the president now, so you get a portrait.
Sometimes, but they weren't always kept generations upon generations because how many counselors you might go through.
Sure.
It's possible that you might have seen something. You can roll history if you want to.
Oh yeah, my sweet ass history. Hey.
I mean, turns out Avernus does sometimes pay minor attention.
Yeah, I mean, he lived in the palace.
Mm-hmm. You consider thinking about who this man could possibly be.
Huh.
And you have a slight flashback as you think about it. As you actually recall a very, very faint memory of your grandfather effectively having you on his knee when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And talking to you about very much as a grandfather might, about telling you about when he was young.
Yep, of course.
And you do vaguely recall him talking about a druid he used to have with him.
Uh-huh.
Who very much was described as a fairly tall elf, similar to this man. You know, kind of a lot of what basic descriptions you do remember, kind of vaguely similar.
Okay.
Who did apparently venture with him, specializing in particular in apparently beating the shit out of people with shillelagh.
All right, don't you know?
The classic spell of shillelagh.
All right, everyone loves a good shillelagh.
Mm.
All right.
You don't recall a lot, but you do at least recall vague bits that he's probably not bullshitting you.
Right. I mean, I'm just frowning here, straining his mind to try to remember.
Unfortunately, he by the time when he was on the council, was not you weren't born yet necessarily.
Yeah. He will say, I don't suppose you knew my former friend and former seer at my court was also, I believe, a druidic elf as yourself. His name was Zed. I don't suppose you ever met or knew each other.
Yes, I...
That young whippersnapper.
I did not know him very well. But I did spend a good several moons traveling with his wife.
Oh, yes.
I was, they did make a very happy couple together, to what I understand. Whatever happened to him?
I am afraid he is dead.
We don't speak of the dark times.
The cycle continues as always, I suppose.
Thanos nods. Yes, he has a place of memory and reverence in my palace garden.
I would
Be
come
welcome.
visit if I ever have the luxury.
If you wish to come to visit at Sorakai, we would be happy to host you.
I would love to pay my respects to him and his wife.
Nods. Of course. Of course. We would be more than happy to have you.
We spent several hours at one point discussing actually quite a bit during my travels. He had many stories to tell. He was a very worldly individual.
Yes. Yes. Nods to himself. Well, we would love to show you around Sorakai at some point. In the same visit, perhaps.
I will apologize. I do not have much in the way of proper inn rooms. I have a few spare rooms in the back which you can use for yourselves if you wish.
Looks over to Ceres. Yes, that might be best.
As you understand, though, we have very rarely received visitors.
That's fine. We are used to travel on the road, so sleeping in an inn of any description is an upgrade.
I will make sure I'll have a special dinner made for all of you.
A special dinner.
Now please, warm yourselves up by the fire. If you need anything, do not hesitate to ask.
I think Ceres will probably go get his like ear just away from the group. And I think she would ask him if he was still in the court when her mother appeared.
He scratches his beard for a moment as he kind of looks at you. Your mother, what was her name? I met many elves during my time, even in the Imperial Court.
I don't know if we actually ever gave Ceres's mother a first name in our discussions about her. I've been looking in my notes and I can't find anything.
I presume you will give the name.
Yes, yeah.
Mrs. Taloniel. That's the only thing. That's it. You never knew her first name. Yeah, just every time you try to say your name, you're gonna hit. That is Mrs. Taloniel to you,
Haley,
young lady.
It's been so many years. Oh, she was a sweet, sweet girl. Too smart for her own good, but a sweet girl. I did not know her well, but I knew bits. I met her for a short time, as you understand. It was towards the end of my tenure. I do remember at the time he kind of gently placed his hand quite close to his stomach. With child, I presume you must be Kalia's first then, given what you remember.
She nods.
She was a bright young woman, though perhaps too ambitious with her research at times. His Majesty actually quite enjoyed, though, the nature of the research. He found it quite intriguing.
What was she working on for the king?
I do not know what she was personally working upon, for the king in particular, but I know her personal research into the Shadow Plane was quite fascinating to him. Something about power extraction, I think it was. He seemed quite keen to be able to harness that power for something. Yes, yes. Oh, I remember, yes, he... Towards the twilight of his tenure, he started getting a little bit... twilight of my tenure, he started getting a slightly... How do I put it? He changed. He became obsessive. During one of his trips down to the deep south, Glenmora, something changed in him. He became very about some kind of impending threat that he swore was coming. He apparently found her research into source of power intriguing.
Just to confirm, it sounds like the same sort of research that she was doing previously that Mikara told Ceres about.
It sounds like it, yes.
Yeah. Alright. Ceres will tell him. He may have changed because he learnt of a prophecy that some hags gave him.
I would never trust the prophecy from a hag, but... Glenmora, that could make sense. He wouldn't speak of what happened down there. He merely returned paranoid and slightly delusional. And he came back bearing some strange artifact he would not let me get close to. Wicked magic surrounded that thing, though he lacked the power to use it. I do believe your mother actually helped him activate whatever it was. Her research apparently being able to produce enough power for what he needed. That lines up probably with what Ceres was hearing about some kind of spell used to down the Great Worm.
Yeah.
Because taking out one of the Draconia's great worms is no easy feat.
No. So it's like rubs her jaw. There's still leaves so many questions about her.
Do you... I take it you do not have very many memories of your dear mother.
She just shakes her head and says, "No, she was assassinated in some of Eagle's final years."
Dear Twig, please come here for a second. The benefits of age are long on us, but one thing we are known for is our memories. As he gently kind of reaches out towards you, and do you stop him? Can you just reaching out like an old shaky hand towards you?
No. No, Ceres doesn't stop him.
You feel yourself entering into an elven trance where he's trying to send you into one.
Okay.
As you find your mind kind of running backwards and reaching memories you don't remember having.
Okay.
Like, you're fairly sure they're from your own eyes, but it's almost like you see yourself in your own crib staring up at your mother.
Okay.
But you can see her there, kind of her beautiful face standing in these kind of like very elegant black and sapphire robes. You can see her wearing like a very much a badge of office for the Empire. You can see her soft features in front of you. She gently picks you up and rocks you in her arms a little bit because you were crying. As she kind of sings a sweet elven lullaby to you. And then you feel the man's hand come off your face and the memory kind of end.
Ceres will take like a few seconds to sort of gather herself and say, yeah, I think I need to learn that.
We all have memories locked in. I've gotten good at drawing them out. But it's a thing that is not easy to learn. There are many things people do not want to remember.
Ceres will nod and say, the harshest of memories bring the greatest of teachings, though.
If there is ever something, though, you are having trouble recalling, I can always try and help coax it to your surface.
Ceres nods.
But I hope at least whatever I managed to show you, though I do not know what I revealed, was something of value to you.
Ceres nods again. As it was. Thank you.
He smiles in this kind of way like an old grandfather might. As he goes off to continue his work, tapping along with a walking stick, which Amnes now knows could be a very deadly shillelagh strike.
Watch out.
Yeah, Ceres
Hit us for tens of damage.
So no, I'm just going to let you know slightly out of character. Druid monk.
He looks like a monk.
As I said, Elven Pie May.
Oh no, he's drunk, guys. We need to.
Oh
a
no.
drunk monk.
He's a druid monk. He's a drunk. Get him out of here.
Drunk druid monk. Oh no.
Oh no. They make the best beer.
Or Muid.
I'm just saying martial arts. Just saying martial arts with shillelagh. Have fun.
Well,
I mean, no, it works. It's drunk. Druid monk. Drunk.
Yeah.
He's a drunk.
Yeah. and there is the drunken master specialization for it.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect. He is a drunk.
Well, you know, we need a royal brewer. Maybe.
Time to get this man out of retirement, huh?
Honestly, if we get him back to Sorkai.
Yeah, you need to get out of retirement, old man. We need you.
Yeah.
Your country needs you. For England, James.
I mean, we are making a brewery.
Yeah, we
At
are.
least
We
he's
are
the
actually.
corpses of dead birds stuffed in a warehouse that we didn't use. Yeah.
Yeah, give a proper celebration.
Yeah, he's here the storyteller as your brewer.
I shall return to the Empire only if the Festival of Birds are reinstated.
In fairness, he could tell some wild tales about some of the festivals your grandfather did.
Oh yeah. I need some inspiration. All right. Super old elf dude. We'll remember you. Come back and press gang you into service later.
Oh yes, for sure.
Oh, he could start like a combined brewery and like a monastery, right? And then we get the halfling kid in there that like he was like a mog dragon thing, right?
Yeah, he was a draconically blooded monk.
Yeah, Luck the halfling.
A bit of a scrappy brawler, but like he has the makings in him. So.
See, and then we can have a. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a fucking monastic order fight for us? Imperial monastic order.
Like drunken monks.
It would take some work, but that's totally a thing you could.
And again, and like the orphanage, good recruiting ground. You could go into, Imperial Guard or the monastery.
I mean, the monks are even more terrifying in the fact that, unlike your like knights, it's not obvious who are the monks here. They carry no weapons. They carry no armor.
Yeah. That's probably how we recognize them, honestly, because we're pretty heavily armored, most of us.
The point is like Sarah's joking about this idea before with me, but like Luck could make a really good bodyguard for the purposes of like if you want a bodyguard who is not obviously a bodyguard.
Oh
yeah, I was like Luck could be. That's the thing. Like I said, Luck could come with
he could easily pass as just a halfling hand servant who suddenly just rips someone to pieces.
Yeah,
it's true. And now
but the draconicness is kind of easy to see, though.
Well, it's not really that obvious. If he wears like long sleeves, it covers up most of it.
Yeah.
You have a
very fancy clothing then.
The problem is he cost money and it wasn't worth it.
Oh,
wow. He costs money. How dare he get paid for his services?
Yeah. And yeah, as it turns out, any highly skilled people have to go down as retainers, which means they're costing money.
Yeah, he wasn't worth it at the time.
Funds, so
we have the funds. We might. Yeah, it depends. I don't want to hire him and then I outfly him. I don't know.
As it stands at this point, like you guys could probably afford spending a couple of build points on more retainers. You could probably do that.
We could. Yeah.
I mean, he went with.
He did join Arkland during the trip out into
into the little expedition they had a while ago.
He just still does a little bit of venturing on the side. He's largely been hanging out with the wood elves you have camped around Sorkai.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, maybe it's worth taking another look at him.
Yes.
Said is dead. His hate can't spread anymore.
Also, I apologize. I apologize. You would have gotten far. You would have gotten a lot more backstory stuff for Zed here.
No, it doesn't matter. It's actually very good way.
Poor Zed.
Because he would have had words to talk to you about your wife and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
I mean, information that Zed didn't already know about his wife would be kind of not much, but
It would have been. The point is, it's like this would have been a moment, but obviously,
yeah, it could be a moment like two old elves talking.
Everyone else sleeps.
But so is the nature of a character who dies before the campaign's completion.
But regarding to this character, I do have a thing that I want to do.
Sure, you can. It's like everyone seems to like Yazir apparently.
There's gambling in this area.
There's a small card table. Yeah.
Ciel is gonna try to gamble them for the purpose of gaining some of blood back to the vials.
Oh, here we go.
Because that is how Ciel usually gets the blood.
She's a mosquito lady. Yes, that'll stay.
You weren't entirely familiar with the card game local to this area, but you were free to try.
I will play for blood.
Well, if they don't want to pay for gold, they can pay with blood.
Do you have a proficiency, particularly in?
I do have a proficiency in playing cards.
You do.
Yes.
In which case you will not be taking the penalty in this then. Okay.
That's a really bad roll, though.
Not a good roll. No.
Do you want an 8?
Yes.
I can invisibly telepathically shove, a card into your hand.
Just you sit on the other end of the bar, just looking at their cards and telepathically.
Oh, that's true.
You can't use
the
telepathy
doesn't work.
Oh damn!
No. But
you can use old-fashioned signals.
Yeah, I can use telepathic. Like it could pat you on the back, with signals.
Yeah, like
or something.
taps. Yeah.
Tap for go, tap for fold.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure, I will let you attempt to help Ciel cheat.
Vicus has cheated at cards in his day.
I have a little bit.
Better, much better.
You are able to win yourself a well-deserved drink.
Wonderful.
Which is good because it has you have been out here for how long have you been? This is your fourth. This is your fourth day out here.
Yeah, I have like some reserve, but
you have some reserves, but like I was like your blood vials kind of go bad after a couple of days. So
like cast gentle repose on the blood.
Like soon, I might have had to ask.
Yes, but I don't have that spell.
What was that?
I don't have
if you have like a tub of blood and cast gentle repose.
Yeah,
on it.
Gentle repose would totally preserve a tub of blood.
Yeah,
but I do not have that spell.
Or did you preserve a couple of vials with it?
We find the biggest, fattest like ogre we can, kill it, gentle repose, and then you have blood for days.
Stick its body inside of something because it's a portable hole.
Yes. How
basically like a giant Capri Sun.
It's really bad. It's
okay.
Well, I mean, if you only need a vial,
I like the idea though. I like the idea.
I didn't know you were a fancy lady.
Well, I mean, I am not.
How much blood does she need?
Not much.
Because
it's like a vial of a day.
Just a nibble.
If it's a vial a day, then just a person would be a good supply of blood with gentle repose.
CL doesn't want to do that.
The point is the blood has to remain fresh, which means you either need gentle repose or you have to do it on the spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But instead, you don't need an ogre. You just need a person. Like same thing. It'd last a while.
A single corpse could reasonably, with gentle repose, get you 6 to 8 drinks without issue. So.
6 to 8. Oh, I was thinking many more because I was thinking
you might be able to get more, but there's a certain point where you're just dealing with clotted blood in there, and it's like not as much.
I guess.
I mean, it's not alive anymore,
Yeah.
You can like the point is you can get a good handful of drinks out of a dead body if it's preserved.
You need to get better at exsanguinating people.
I mean, I'm expert in medicine.
As it stands, in that event, what you can do, which is far easier for transport, is like take the blood out of the bodies and then just gentle repose the vials.
Yeah.
We'll have a think about it.
Well,
gentle repose is not something the group has access to, unfortunately.
I suppose if you gentle repose, if you get it into like a barrel, then gentle repose that, then distribute it. That should work, right?
I mean, talk to the people who had gentle reposed fish or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, they have maybe perfected the technique.
It's an expensive form of preservation, but some nobles demand their fish stays fresh.
In fairness,
that is so ostentatious. If Amonas was ruler of that land and he heard of that, he would have blown a fucking...
I mean, keep in mind.
He's not.
Keep in mind, yeah, because it was not in our land it was being done, but also gentle repose is a ritual, which means certain people could just do it infinitely for free.
Yeah, that's true. It is a ritual. It just takes time.
It takes time, but it's not actually expensive to do. It just needs an expert to do it, which means it seems overly fancy to you, but no, that's entirely reasonable as a preservation method.
It is very reasonable in a world like this. Yeah, I do agree.
I don't know. There's still something inside of me that just rebels at the thought.
Yeah. As it stands, it's not the primary preservation method. Primary method is still smoking and salting. But the point is, if you're willing to pay a slightly higher price for those really high-end cuts in the supermarket equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can gentle repose to have your meat transported overland without being preserved.
Is it just because it's not pickled? That's the problem.
Pickling is the other option you have available, of course.
Pickling is a true and noble way of preserving fish.
I'll tell you, that is the primary way Sorbet is doing it currently.
See?
Because Sorbet is definitely not high enough level currently to have wizards dedicated to gentle reposing fish.
Or you do that salting and drying thing that makes the fish so goddamn hard it needs to lay in water for days before you can eat it later.
The Romans used to make a special kind of fish sauce by literally leaving fish and a ton of salt in a pot and then literally with no water and literally just leaving it in the sun for 2 weeks, 2 months.
I mean, the dry fish. The dry fish is a Scandinavian speciality in ancient times. That's how fish was preserved here.
But it was also that Roman practice that each city had distinct laws on how far away from population those. Because when it came time to distill it down, once it was done, it smelled horrible. Yeah, it was horrific. It was so bad it had to be like quite a distance away from populated areas.
On the other hand, it's not that different from a tannery situation. Like, you put tanneries on the edge of town for similar reason.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But yeah, Ciel manages to get herself a refill on her vial, so you'll have another couple of days without me having to ask you to check.
Wonderful.
Because you're not going to have to deal with a hungry vampire on you. Ciel can, of course, drink from one of you as an option. But obviously that comes with, issues from
Probably
being
not.
drunk.
Yes, probably not.
Being drunk and can incur exhaustion levels. So. And as it turns out, Ceres doesn't like her one exhaustion level, so.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah. With that, though, you, I suppose you wait. You can rest up by the fire for a bit.
Yep.
And you were informed that the seer for the seer and village leader is willing to see all of you. They will leave it up to you if you want to do it tonight or if you want to do it in the morning.
We'll do it in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
So everyone can have a bit of a rest.
That's fine. The group can take their rest, and since you're resting again in a settlement, I won't require you to make checks against that.
Yes.
Nor any rolls versus getting a random disease.
Hooray!
Happy for Ceres, who can clear her exhaustion.
I'm over it.
You are cured.
Yeah, you were previously cured. You don't need to make any new checks. You just recover from your exhaustion overnight.
Okay.
And get some, and also, of course, you get to enjoy some elven wine.
Yay!
Now I die in.
The only the elven wine is definitely older than Ciel's.
I mean, obviously, Ciel isn't that old.
Admittedly, it might also be older than Vicus's.
Yeah, I was gonna say in relative terms, is he older than me?
The wine is probably older than you.
Damn. We should have a dual memorial or something for us both.
A what?
We have a memorial, but we have it at the same time. We're probably gonna die roughly around.
You and who?
The old elf.
Oh, I think the old elf live.
Not you, Ciel.
I think the old elf will live longer than you because monks can have or druids can have lifeless bodies or what it is.
But he's multi-class, so he's forever not able to do that. So
both monks and druids get it.
Yeah, they get it at the end
level,
of their level. It's like level 19 or something.
Yeah, so if you're multi-class, you can't get to level 19.
You just can't get it.
Depends how you multi-class.
Ah, true.
I mean, also as it stands, who knows exactly what he's been up to? NPCs don't follow exact rules, so.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, elves live so long.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but so like
he might already be in the vulnerable category, but you don't know how. But he might still have more years in vulnerable category than you have in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I suppose if he's mostly monk, he only needs 15 levels to get timeless body.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you don't need a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot of levels for an effective shillelagh.
No, yeah.
Like a 1 level. It's a level 1 spell. Or a feat.
You can get the magical initiative.
Timeless body you still die from old age with timeless body. You just don't suffer the effects of old age.
In his case, he does appear to be quite old at this point, so he's clearly not that timeless in his body.
Yeah, so he's still. Unless he's done some magic, he's gonna die. Yeah.
I mean, he seemed like a 500, 600 years old elf. So, he had still 100 years. 150 years, maybe.
Elves live up to 1,000 years in the setting.
750 is the usual.
Oh, 750,
and then up to 1,000.
But then, I mean, if he's got 18 levels in Druid, he's gonna live millennia.
Yeah, because you're gonna die much sooner than this elf.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
if I had to bet on it, if you are human still.
I mean, Ciel is a gambling woman, so
Yes. I'm gonna 5 gold on it.
I take the bet, but I can't pay if I'm dead. So.
I mean, you can put it in your will.
I can, yes, you can put it on a will.
Oh yeah, sure. I will definitely put it in my will.
In the event of my death before Yozir the storyteller, I owe CL 5 gold pieces.
Yeah. CL write that into the archives.
Yeah.
As an official imperial, representative, I can witness.
I mean, I feel like Amnesty can count as 2 witnesses for the signing of the.
Yeah. I can be the 2 witnesses for the Notarius Publicus in the signing.
Who was your witness for this? Who was your witness for this? The king and the king. Oh,
yes, His Majesty and Amanus.
Okay. The next day kind of rises. It's a bit of a foggy morning, though you notice the fog doesn't really penetrate deep into kind of the lake where the hollow is. But you can definitely see the fog like very much around the outside, the outside, the actual like swamp outside. It appears the harsh weather doesn't affect the inside the hollow as much. Again, heavy warding is in effect here, clearly. You are served a small, it's a relatively modest breakfast. It's not like they can go full out on decadence, given they don't really have anything to go decadent with. But it tastes nice. Essentially equivalent to some kind of like porridged oats with fresh fruit in it.
Sure.
Though you do get a long story from Yizzy talking about the fact, like him almost slightly lecturing the group the fact that these fruits are, you're very lucky to have these fruits given the fact they've only just, they only just bloom around this time, start blooming around this time of year.
Yes.
Also, I'm glad to see it's actually in the archive. Thank you, Isa.
It is in the archives. I added an additional note to my pets that I have a pet with Vickers.
Is there anything I need to be made aware of from the group before you plan to go meet the seer?
Amanus and Cyrus get bardic inspiration.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Not expecting a fight, so. Would go in. Can I remove that effect that's on me? I don't know.
Effect is on.
What effect?
Yes, I can. Oh, I thought I had. Never mind. That's aura protection. I thought that was. I thought it was protection from good and evil, but it isn't.
Okay. The group then decides to make their way as you are gently escorted through the village by some of their mages.
Yep.
There's a little bit of activity in the morning here. You can see a few individuals currently working away crafting. Quite a few carpenters in particular. It appears working here. I suppose one of the few resources they have being wood. And you also pass by a couple of shops that give a very strong odors to them, as you can smell a lot of arcane reagents being brewed. You've got a very small community of mages here. This is, As you approach towards one of the central buildings in question, where there's like stairs leading up to it, but the stairs are kind of like these small little floating, like they're all individual pieces of wood that are just kind of floating in the air. They're not attached to anything, they're just floating.
Yeah.
But they kind of make a spiraling stair up the tree towards the building above. A pair of guards stand at the bottom, very much closer to something Amanus is used to for guards, with proper, they are wearing, it's not quite plate mail, but what's like a heavy armor that's not plate, like splint? Can't remember if that's heavy armor. You get the point. It's like, not quite plate mail, but close to plate mail levels.
Sure.
Helmets on, and you can see various runes engraved into their armor. They seem to just kind of nod as you go past, though they seem to keep an eye on you. as you head on up. The mage looks to all of you before as you kind of reach the top. We are not going to ask you to remove your weapons. Though we would normally for visitors, the seer informed us that it would be a folly to try.
Yes.
Not wise seer.
Regardless, though, we do ask you try to keep your weapons not drawn.
Looks at his halberd.
Looks at her staff.
Wouldn't pass an old lady.
You wouldn't.
Oh.
You wouldn't take a walking stick from an old lady, now would you?
Oh dear.
The mage looks like the mage isn't going to argue, but he looks slightly annoyed. Because obviously they have 4 rather well-armed strangers walking into, to meet his leader. So
Yeah.
I don't need the staff. My grimoire's most of my focus.
I mean, that's true. Your staff is actually just there as an accessory at this point to like cast extra spells with.
Yeah, pretty much. It aids in casting Ray of Frost mostly.
Makes your Ray of Frost stronger than normal, and that's pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's nice.
Well, +1 to attack rolls, but I think my spellbook overrides that with the +2.
Because your spellbook is +2 to all spells.
Yeah, so it's just a fancy stick most of the time.
It literally just gives you Ray of Frost, but with like extra things attached.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course you can bonk someone as a quarterstaff for extra d6 cold.
Yep, I still have my 100% hit to kill rate.
Oh yeah.
As far as anyone has seen, Ceres has hit someone with her staff and they've died.
As the group enters inside, the room is large. It's fairly large. Actually, it almost feels larger on the inside of this small wooden room than it looked on the outside. As you see the wall covered in arcane runes, and some runes which, even to like to some of you, they almost seem like they shift before you, and they're really hard to keep track of. Seal, of course, you have something special going on here.
Yes, I can.
With your eyes of the Rune Keeper. The various runes that you see kind of flashing around the room, constantly changing, they look like messages to you. It's almost like saying like they're really short things, but it's like, but they're like very brief things such as like group of orcs walk over bridge. Bird lands in tree. Like tons and tons of like little messages, almost like things happening all over her domain. Just very quickly flashing past and little messages on her walls. It's very hard to keep up with. You're not sure what tongue they're in, but you can see them flashing. Shifting from rune to rune. As you kind of enter inside, and you see this elven woman standing before you. Her eyes, pure white lights. Not quite the same lights you saw from, like, it's not the same kind of like, pale light that was eating away with the fallen, but there's still this just glow.
Okay.
As you see this tattooed elven woman stand there, relatively young. You're not sure how old. Might be younger than Ceres. Probably younger than Ceres. But it's clear she has some power behind her. As she speaks out, her voice very slightly echoes in a way that's not quite natural. Esteemed travelers, it has been too long since I have met company who does not wish to see me bifurcated by blade. Such esteemed guests, I do offer you my full hospitality and do apologize for not being able to meet you earlier. Please, come on in.
All right.
I should be so honored to be visited by the High King of Amanazil himself. I do believe that is the title you go by. Do correct me if I am wrong.
That is sufficient. Yes.
As she kind of looks to each of you. Ciel, you feel your ring on your hand get warm, as if some of Cassandra's magic tries to like pierce you, but your ring of mind shielding protects you.
Yep. Good to know.
As it looks like whatever her ability is can't quite pierce your ring, but your ring really doesn't like it.
Oh, good. So she's reading our minds. Apart, well, not Seal's.
Not necessarily, but at least living her powers are reaching out.
Hmm.
Much has changed outside these borders in a fairly short time. We have taken control over Alcend, and we intend to take control, or at least solve the problem of the orc horde that lingers in these lands. The orcs have, well, they are posing a problem for us now, and we intend to solve it.
A bold and ambitious plan.
Nods. That is how we operate.
A specialty, one might say.
I see many futures ahead of you, but I do see many where victory does stand with you.
Looks her up and down. Oh, so you are some sort of seeress, a diviner.
My powers reach out. I see realities fold, different futures that, while few used to like my gift, have turned out invaluable in holding back the tide. Her eyes turn and pierce towards Ceres with this uncomfortable look. I don't take no offense, but I do not like you.
Ah!
Your reality folds in on itself in a way that is unnatural.
You can't just say no offense and then be offensive. It's still offensive.
I do not know what you have done, but your time does not flow with us.
My time is my own. I bend it the way I wish it to be.
Time is not ours to bend as mortals.
It's like Smile from Amanus.
Ceres smirks and says, I didn't get that memo.
Some would say that to see time also is not for mortals.
As it turns out, her divinatory powers are also really struggling against Ceres because you're damn it playing your own timeline.
I could do whatever I want.
You...
I could knock her out of her own
my
timeline.
personal time bubble, please.
I could just...
You will... You will find that we are a collection of people who care little about common wisdom or convention. We have bucked that for years to get where we are now.
Accept it. And as said, I did not mean strong offense in that. Simply the fact that trying to view your future is not one I am keenly like to try.
Ceres nods. It's,
That's fine.
I would much prefer to be able to adjust my own future.
The future can always be adjusted, even as I see forward the timelines of blood and of bloodshed and war. I do not see the outcome, but I do see ones where you all stand victorious. I see some where I stand dead. And I see others where we are partners. I do not know which will be the correct future, but that is of little concern at the moment. We have a common foe to deal with. She kind of briefly blinks her eyes and shakes her head for a second, clearly getting lost for a moment in seeing the myriad of futures. I understand you all came with questions of what's happened here. I will do my best to enlighten you to the circumstances of the Blackwood, and of abroad if you so require. She looks from each of you.
We have come to understand that you are trying to reverse some of the influences of the Orc Horde, and since we seem to share goals, perhaps some sort of compact or alliance can be formed. We are here mainly as a scouting force before we attempt any larger scale military operation against the Orcs. We have found that operating in this small strike team, we are able to achieve much that an army could not.
You see her eyes briefly kind of flicker with a light again. A wise decision. Most outcomes I see where you simply sent your troops in led in bloodshed, not in your favor. I would not be opposed to a partnership. While my magic is strong, and that of my peoples as well, we lack manpower to be able to fight back against the Horde. We've tried, but we do not simply have the resources to grow. And such growing takes too long in the current timescale. One does not simply train an army from a few villages that you have pulled together. Do you seek to become the rulers of the Blackwood? Or are you here to be its liberators, returning it to its former glory?
In my opinion, is that returning the Blackwood to its former glory would require us taking control of it. I don't think these ruins would rebuild themselves, and the benighted and bedraggled peasants we have seen so far seems completely incapable of doing anything than just scrape and bow to their overlords.
In their defense, those who had the ability to fight back have largely been killed in the last century.
Nods. Indeed.
The humans fought hard, but, well, even if they were still alive not from conflict, 50 years does much on their bodies. It is time they do not have.
Let me tell you this, Sia. If it is glory that you seek for Blackwood, we can certainly deliver.
The fate of Blackwood is not one I have fully decided. I would request peace and prosperity, but I have not figured out the future which would be best for that. There are too many options.
Take a pamphlet.
Sorry, pulls one out. Something like peace, prosperity through conquest. Yes. Join the Ashen Ascendancy military now.
Yeah. Strength through unity, unity through faith, yeah. And as always, England prevails.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
But I do see the merits of your ambitions. And while I cannot see quite far enough ahead to know how such a rule of yours would be completed, I do feel any such rule by you would be certainly better than the current masters here.
Then we are in agreement.
Even if that is just my intuition, not my powers.
I can almost promise you that we will be better than an orc warlord.
She nods. I
But
do not have ambitions of conquest.
That is all I have.
While I would while I have considered what would happen in the event that I controlled the thrones of Blackwood, that is not a future which I would pursue to the death. This is not an area worth dying for in that sense. Its prosperity, maybe, but not my control.
Well, since we are in agreement on the most important part so far, perhaps you can furnish us with some advice on where to go next. We are newcomers in the land, and guidance or information of the surrounding areas would be helpful, as well as suggestions where to go next. We had planned to seek out the old castle up in the mountains that we have heard about, near the village of Telvir.
These are old ruins, very old. Once the home of an old noble family, but now overrun. The noble family held out the best they could, but it was not enough. The orcs came in. Defenses were broken. After decades of holding out. And while we managed to clear the orc presence from there, the damage has been done. Monsters have long taken the place as their own. One particular monster has taken it who has been threatening my flank. Its removal would be greatly appreciated, and I would not be opposed if your own forces wish to hold up there.
Nods. That was the intention.
The largest adversary there is a cyclops.
Frowns. I have only heard of these creatures in legends.
They are a creature of the age of myth, but it seems in this current age, myth is becoming much of reality. It has become an area of difficulty for me. Powerful cyclopses also have an uncanny ability to divine the future, and in doing so have been countering my own attempts from my end. A divinary war, if you might understand.
Nods.
Though I doubt their perspective would expect an outsider like yourself. I did not initially know you were coming either.
Why would that be?
Divination is powerful, but it can be blindsided. We have spent so long fighting each other. Why would they look for an external threat at the moment?
Then it would behoove us to strike before they notice.
If you move quietly, it's possible they would not notice you beforehand, leaving you in the Cyclops' blind spot, able to strike.
We are able to move fairly quietly, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Keep in mind, he has overrun the entire castle with his own monsters of other kinds as well. He simply declares himself, however, the King of Blackwood, despite the orcs' disagreements, though the orcs also rarely care about him. This is a land that holds no true master, and therefore many will want to claim that crown. Gargoyles and undead may also be of threat to you.
Very well.
And of course, I can offer you safe passage through my area. I can tell all of my forces to leave you be.
Nods. That is good.
She will also provide you a very basic map of the lower part of the swamp.
Sure.
Yeah, that was good to know.
So there's some tiles revealed for you. Due to the lake that has formed, you will need to take the crossing near the village, but that is under my protection, so you should be safe.
Be careful, less.
The lake does house monsters of not under my control, though, so I would not recommend venturing onto the water. Quick catch up for you, Halldamir.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Basically, she gave permission of, if you want to clear out that castle, she's happy for you to move your troops in there. Castle is currently being controlled by a Cyclops currently in a divinary war with her.
Okay. Cyclops.
But neither her nor the Cyclops, predicted you coming, probably because they've been so blindsided with each other.
With what troops?
The Cyclops apparently having a force of gargoyles, various monsters, and undead under him.
Yep. We need to go there and knock it over.
How are we going to get our army there without... We're going to alert the orcs. The orcs are going to know that forces
we're going there. We're going.
Oh, just us? Oh.
Yeah. Alpha strike.
Alpha strike it. All right.
As she was saying, given the fact that the Cyclops is so focused on trying to mess with her,
I'm down.
He won't notice
if you guys are stealthy, he and his forces may not notice you sneaking into the castle.
We can do stealthy.
As long as you're stealthy on your approach, they may not notice before it's too late.
All right.
Obviously, letting you take out the castle from the inside, which is far better than trying to siege a very old castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can clear it, she's happy for you to move your troops in. As she would much rather have allies sitting in that castle instead of a monster trying to constantly mess with her.
Yeah.
She's also revealed a bunch of tiles on the southern side of the swamp for you. But has warned you do not go out on the 2 lake tiles, as there are monsters in that which she does not control. That lake, by the way, is not on your original maps. That shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I'm guessing part of the water flowing backwards deal.
Yeah, probably.
You can bring it up to her if you want to, but,
well, it's a problem we'll have to solve at some point.
Well, I presume we'll solve it when we solve the rest of the issues.
Yeah, I don't think we can solve the backflowing border, at the moment.
No, not at the moment.
It would be, good to know what caused it. The creature.
Yeah, the dread eldritch horror from beyond the further stars.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mind flare to me.
Well, we can ask, certainly, if she knows what type of creature was summoned or what's causing it.
She pauses as you mention it. Decades ago, a spell was cast calling upon a false god, a creature not of this world, from beyond veils where even the gods dare peer. A creature came and sought to make manifest in this world, claim part of it as its dominion. The creature was killed through powerful magical means, but its death has had consequences. where once the capital stood here, the lands of Blackwood, now only stands a body of water where this creature's corpse spews out an endless flow, a decanter that surges more powerful than any river. Once the water flowed from the mountains up above, down towards the capital and out to sea. But now the water flows from where the capital once stood here, as the flow just overtook the land.
Well, maybe there's a way to solve it.
I have endeavored to take a look, to find out, but I cannot get close enough with the orcs controlling that area.
Nods. We'll clear them out.
I do hope that is the future that occurs. Too many people have died in this ceaseless back and forth. Too many timelines have ended for something which is pointless. Hopefully, when a new ruler takes this place, the people will finally have a chance to rest and sleep. She lets out a small smile as she considers. But yes, much of the old capital now unfortunately lies under the lake that's formed there, where this creature's corpse has created around it.
Well, we shall endeavor to take a look in the future then, perhaps. But first, the Cyclopean Castle awaits.
She nods. I wish you luck with your travels there. If there's any magical aid you need, me and my people will be happy to try and aid. We do have access to many reagents that we have been crafting or gathering. And my people have become skilled craftsmen in their own right. Though our supplies of mana crystals do run low some days.
I am sure our spellcasters can take a look if they need to.
Is there anything further you wish to discuss?
Not at this time, I think.
She nods her head. Then please, you are free to take your leave, but if you ever wish to return, simply tell of my people, and they will let me know. The Hollow is a place you may come to rest whenever you are in danger. Though to you, Miss Talaniel, beware the magics you practice, for they have swallowed many whole.
That's
Looks
awfully
over
cryptic.
to Ceres, looks over to her and says, the same could be said for your soothsaying.
She pauses, a small smile on her face. This is not an untrue statement.
A smoldering, criticizing my court mage. How dare you? There's time manipulation magic is no danger at all. What are you talking about?
Look, she was giving a friendly warning. You're going to completely ignore it, but she's giving the friendly warning anyway.
We don't heed warnings that well.
She can also see that on the cards, but
Yeah.
She also saw, don't take away your weapons because you'll probably go try to kill her.
Just, I'd like to see you try in a way, like,
She saw it best not to try.
Yeah. That's fair one. Look what it has gained her. Powerful allies that would help her get rid of a castle full of Cyclopses.
She rather appreciates. With that, though, the group can take a leave from the Seer of Orlane, Cassandra. And with that, it's probably a decent place for us to call the session to a close.
Yes.
You chose not to fight the witches and instead chose to go diplomatically.
Well, they're very reasonable.
The point is you could have opened up with a fireball.
And even though there are creepy swamp witches, they seem to be a good sort. Which is rare for creepy swamp witches.
But you take what you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And as it stands, they don't seem to want to harm you, they just seem to want to, be left in peace.
And as long as that's the policy, we are happy to oblige. Yeah, next time, assault on Cyclops Castle.
Yeah, a few days travel over there, Cyclops Castle, seems like a good plan.
Yep. Awesome. Then with that, I'm also going to call it a night, because I need to get up tomorrow.
Yes, and I think it's like midnight for you guys now.
Yep, it is.
Bit late.